This is an American story, and my goal was to have a book that when you read it, you heard Eddie's voice. People said that's the best presentation we've ever had. Tattooing is a leisure activity that changes social norms. And at that point, leisure can change society.
Kids loved Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have pictures of all three of my daughters. Two of them was the first time they ever smiled, like when they were infants. He just knew people. He knew how to make people smile. And It didn't matter what age it was.
Yeah.
Dude was something special.
Dan says, I love America. Because here I'm a guy with very little education. And with elbow grease and a tattoo machine, I was able to support my family, buy property, and make a living with a little education and a tattoo machine.
What's happening? This is Austin from Support Your Local Tattooer. Today is a very special day. I got two of my hands down favorite characters, dudes. I got Phil Luck in the house.
What's up, y'all?
We got Dr. Eric Foemmel in the house.
Yes, doctor in the house.
Yeah. The author of The Life and Times of Crazy Philadelphia Eddie. He wrote, you wrote, I only have 4 on the table for some reason.
There's 7.
7? Yeah. So I got to find my 3 others.
It's a long story.
The 7th came out, and then 2 weeks later, Eddie passed.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And we worked really hard. Okay, so he was going to stop at number 6. And then the National Oral History Association invited us to come and present at their symposium.
What were they thinking?
Yeah.
Well, the emails that I got from them, people said, this is the best one we've ever, that's the best presentation we've ever had. And I saved those emails because, that was my goal, was to be acknowledged by the Oral History Association, because this is an American story. And my goal was to have a book that when you read it, you heard Eddie's voice. So when we went to that convention, Eddie realized he had to lace up his boots and do number 7. Got to finish the story. So we worked really hard to get that 7th book out. And then he went to a convention. Not a lot of people were interested. That kind of broke his heart, and the wind was gone out of his sails. After that, he just kind of packed it in, So
what was the plan originally? How many books was it supposed to be when you guys first started discussing it?
5.
5.
Oh, yeah. Wow. He wanted to get a decade per book.
Okay.
And then when we did the first book, we put it out at Mario Barth's biggest tattoo show. That was in 2010. The day he had that up for sale on the table, I was already working on book 2. And he was telling the photographer, Michelle, book 3 is going to be in the works. I'm going to give the tapes to Eric. I mean,
oh shit.
1 was for sale. 2 was at the printers. 3 was on my desk. I mean, we were working.
Right.
That's so
and then
great.
he slowed down a little bit. And then it was a book pretty much per year. So,
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, he was working hard.
Yeah. So I think we kind of wanted to go a little into you actually, like your kind of intro to tattooing in general. Phil was telling me some great stories.
Yeah. That was in Sacramento, California, on Capitol and 19th Street, American Graffiti. It was...
First off, it was a beautiful house. It was not a storefront.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful home, right? Was that...
That's the one they moved into.
Oh, okay. This is before that.
This was kind of like a basement bottom dwelling area. And those guys just, it was blood, sweat, and tears.
Was Eric Hogan at the helm at this point?
Yeah. Yeah. And Scott was too. Scott Sylvia. And there was a gentleman, Nate, but I can't remember his last name.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Starts with a B.
Yeah. And
Buenelas.
Oh,
right. Is that how you pronounce
Benuelos?
it?
And
Benuelos?
That's, I was 21.
That could be,
so
yeah.
that's like 30 something years ago. But like they built the cabinets out. They built their own countertops. And I remember him saying, like, we don't know what's going to happen when we open the store. We don't know if like the old timers are going to come and give us a hard time.
How did you find the place?
The coffee shop I hung out at was around the corner.
Okay.
From their place, American Graffiti. And that was that was before they moved into the the house. And I got a tattoo from Eric Hogan there. That was my first tattoo. And after that, I was hooked.
Right.
Oh, shit.
And all my friends were getting tattoos.
And the back piece was how long in?
I jumped in.
Yeah,
the
you went
deep
all
end
in,
pretty
yeah.
quick. I mean, like I put my foot in the shallow end, just walked right around to the deep end and dove right in. You know,
you did.
Yeah.
That's a serious back piece.
Oh shit, man. Yeah.
Were you drawn to tattooing at a real early age or exposed to it or anything? Or
We weren't really exposed to it as a kid. I mean,
Any family members?
no.
No shit.
No, yeah, because I mean, in the 80s, I mean, even if you had arm tattoos, you couldn't get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and you know, I had friends getting tattoos in high school, and I'm like, "What are you crazy?" I mean, they were little decal sized on their arms. When was a dragon? You know, and you're like, when was like, you know, skater stickers and stuff, and I'm like, man, you guys aren't going to be able to get a job. What are you doing? You're born to earn minimum wage from this. You know, there's are visible tattoos. So none of my tattoos are visible to this day. It's ingrained in me. But, you know, all of our friends started getting tattoos right about that time. In the 90s, there was that big explosion. And we would go to tattoo conventions. And I went to Japantown in San Francisco and bought a book that was published by three people. Ed Hardy, last guy named Rubin, and Alan Governor. And they put together this symposium and invited academics to write about tattooing. And they were getting away from that academic view that tattooing was for socially deviant people.
Yeah.
And that they wanted to look at it as an art form. And that whole tattoo renaissance that was happening. I gravitated towards that book, and it had a back piece on it by Leo Zaluda. And what was the book? Was it Modern Primitive? No, it was Marks of Civilization.
Okay. That's a big book.
Right. And so when I wrote my dissertation, those were all my sources for my literature review.
That's so cool.
You know, so a book I bought when I was in my 20s, you know, you know, I had to dig it out of my parents' house, you know, because it was under a bunch of crap. I'm like, oh, this was all the source work I needed. And so at that point, I was attracted to the imagery. And then there was that intellectual side that kind of triggered me as well. And so I was just kind of drawn to it. And then, you know, those endorphins that you get when you start getting tattooed, it's like, you know, so yeah, I just fell in love with the art form.
That's so great.
Yeah. So then, you know, at that time I was trying to get into the park service. I wanted to be a park ranger.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about this a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Right? Never follow your dreams. Anyways, a friend of mine, when I was going to school at Penn State for leisure studies, said,
which is awesome.
Yeah, you know what are you gonna do, right?
Leisure studies.
When you're,
didn't even know that was a thing.
When you're in
I might have gone to school. I might have gone anymore.
It's fading out. So. But if you're gonna have a title in life, Doctor of Leisure
it's so
is pretty,
fucking cool.
pretty awesome.
Amazing. Amazing.
So a friend of mine that I was going to school with said, "Why don't you write about tattooing?" And I thought that is the dumbest idea in the world. And then I started to think about it. There's a culture that you can write about, and then that's when I started working on the idea of, okay, well, maybe this is what I'll write about, and that pushed me looking in that direction. And I started looking at an avenue to explore this topic. And I was going to Penn State and State College. And that's when I met Timmy Tats and Lowercase J. And I wrote a little piece on their shop. And then they introduced me to Crazy Philadelphia Eddie. And that was how that started to happen. So that was the connection.
Solid dudes.
The best.
You said you wrote that piece for something or other than
you know, which got rejected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where were you submitting that work to?
An academic journal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they weren't so.
You weren't just like spitting this out for like tattoo magazines.
Oh, they shot me down.
Okay, really?
Oh man, no one had my 6 on that one. They shot, and they're like, "Oh, we find it funny that you fancy yourself a cultural anthropologist." All this shit.
Get the fuck out.
They nailed me to the wall.
On it, huh?
Yeah. And when I defended my dissertation on tattooing, there was shouting in the room for 15 minutes before I entered the room. There was shouting, And then I went in to defend it. It was a 2-hour defense. That defense is supposed to take 10 minutes. Man, I got nailed to the wall. There was one professor that was not too excited about. Well, I don't think he thought that.
What year is this?
2005.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't really see the merit, the academic merit in studying tattooing, and he had me take key pieces out of the dissertation that were totally important.
Yeah.
Saying I didn't understand the theories. The theories aren't that hard. I mean, if I can understand it.
Yeah.
And then another professor did his research and said, no, Eric understood the theories. You owe him an apology. So I never got the apology. But anyways, they nailed me to the wall. They did not like a dissertation written about tattooing. But yeah.
Whoa. That's wild.
Yeah. And so I had called Alan Governor, who was the guy that was part of that symposium for Marks of Civilization. And he put the anthropologist Victor Turner in my head and said, look this way. Victor Turner's pretty interesting with, the dynamics in culture. And there was the theory of social drama. And when I did my research, the theory that I grounded the research on was social drama. And in a social drama, the first thing that you have is a subculture that likes to do something. And they do it just because they like to do it. It gives them meaning. They enjoy the activity. It's part of their subculture. The second phase is that the moral majority catches wind of this, and they don't like this activity. They see it as subversive. So they the third stage is to stamp it out, either with religion, laws, making it a social taboo. And then the fourth stage that happens is that activity gets pumped into the mainstream, so it's no longer a social threat. Whoa. And I think that's what happened with tattooing.
Yeah.
So if you've got, like when I grew up, sports people didn't have tattoos.
Right.
Right. And these are the
Dennis
leisure
Rodman.
games.
That was it. Dennis Rodman was the turn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And my dad as a kid said, you will play basketball in a team sport. You're going to learn to work with others. So if you've got tattooed individuals that are the heroes of these games that we use to socialize kids, something has changed. Because the NBA, when I was a kid, didn't have any tattoos.
No, none.
So
you'd see a brand every once in a while. Every once in a while, you'd see a brand.
Right. Yeah. And so I argued that tattooing is a leisure activity that changes social norms. And at that point, leisure can change society. And I guess you can see that in art too. Like, with segregation, that was a big thing. And then, Frank Sinatra, Count Basie started to knock that down in Las Vegas with a non-segregated stage. Chuck Berry, rock and roll. That's an art form that knocked down segregation. So that was what I kind of argued with the dissertation. And
they didn't like it. And now look at it.
They didn't like it. Yeah. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, fuck it. But dude, you did it. And that's so
really good.
Yeah. Oh man, it ruffled some feathers.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I got my ass chewed out in that defense. And then I go back the next day. I showed up 5 minutes late. My main professor says, "You're late." And I think that went really well yesterday. I'm like, what are you talking about? What defense were you at, man? I got nailed to the wall. So, yeah.
Damn. So,
brilliant.
Yeah. So you jumped in. So we'll go back maybe to where you met Eddie.
Yeah. Okay.
And you really connected.
Oh, yeah.
Timmy Tats, he introduced you and J. What was the guy?
Lowercase J.
Lowercase
yeah,
J.
the brothers.
Did I meet him?
The Sellers brothers.
You might have.
I met Timmy multiple times.
His younger brother.
Okay.
Great
Right.
tattooer.
Yeah.
Great tattooer.
Yeah, they're
I think
both
I met him
solid.
at the Philly show.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Years ago. Yeah.
So, Timmy talked to Eddie and said, "These are some great stories. I got a friend that writes. I'll introduce you to." So, I flew out to Philadelphia to help Timmy. And the idea was okay, I'm a PhD guy. I can write grants. We can get some money. We can do some research. That was the angle we were going to throw. No one wanted to give us money. But anyways, so he was doing this thing from the horse's mouth, interviewing old old school tattooers like Crazy Philadelphia Eddie Peace, and Stan, Bowery Stan.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Eddie. And he took us to the Skin and Bones exhibit at the National Maritime Museum in Philadelphia. And we walked through that exhibit, and it was like walking through the NBA Hall of Fame with Larry Bird. You know what I mean? Like some of the stories he would tell me when we were walking. This is the first time I met him. He says, you know, sometimes when you're tattooing, someone would come in with a design that you wanted, but you didn't have Xerox machines then, and no one had phones in their pockets or anything like that. Yeah. So he said, you're tattooing someone, and you're looking at that design, you really want it. So you say to him, hey, that's a nice design. Do you want me to clean up the lines a little bit? And so the guy says, yeah. So you redo the lines.
Okay.
You put a napkin on it. You pull that off, and then you've got the outline in blood.
Brilliant.
And that's how you make your stencil.
Brilliant.
Get the fuck out with with not acetate, or with the
acetate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because that's how
brilliant.
Yeah.
How brilliant.
I just love the fucking the hustle, the little sneaky.
So I mean, like, you've got this bloody napkin.
Yeah.
And you trace that out. Yeah. And now you've got a design on your wall. And I thought, man, this is a hell of a story.
Yeah.
So he and I drank some Bloody Marys, had a great time drinking, and then Timmy interviewed him.
I didn't know he was much of a drinker.
Yeah, amazing. Imagine that. Yeah. Philly, Eddie liked to drink a little.
Two-fisting Eddie.
Two-fisting, right. And then he doesn't remember that day at all. I totally do, because it was, like, wow, I'm meeting Crazy Philadelphia Eddie.
Yeah.
And as you know, he makes you feel like you're the only person in the room.
Yes.
And that you've been friends for 20 years. He had that way about him as a person. He had a kind heart for kids and animals. I mean, like he was a very genuine person.
Loved Eddie.
Yeah.
I have pictures of my all three of my daughters.
Yeah.
Two of them was the first time they ever smiled. Like when they were infants. Like he just knew people. He knew how to make people smile. And it didn't matter what age it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude was something special.
Yeah. And then a couple of months went by, and I got a phone call from him saying, hey, could you come out? I'd like to talk to you about writing a book. And I said, yeah, okay. And that was an experience in itself.
Yeah.
Making a book deal with Crazy Philadelphia Eddie.
Yeah.
People have told me I shouldn't tell this story. I love telling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was helping a friend with his dissertation, collecting the data in Florida. So I drove out over to Eddie's to pick up the tapes for the book, 8 tapes. And he says, did you get a deal for the book? And I said, well, the only person that was interested in us said 5%. And he said, that's the deal I got with Schiffer. And Schiffer Publishing published that one great book on, that was an oral history on Stoney. Stoney Knows How.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean, like this, it was an Alan Governor book, right?
Well, they had, I think, was it originally by Schiffer?
Yeah.
It
Schiffer
was.
Publishing.
Okay.
And Alan Governor was the guy that wrote it, and it's all Stoney's voice. So, I mean, like, it's an oral history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go out and I said,
real quick, did he do the documentary as well on Stoney?
Yeah.
He did.
That was him. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, like that's what I aspired to be. Now I work at a bus station. But anyways, I digress. So I drive out there, and his girlfriend answers the door. She's, oh, Eric, it's great. Welcome to the house. The boys are out by the pool. Here's a beer. Why don't you go ahead and talk business with them? I'm finishing up dinner. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I go out to the pool, and Eddie's hanging out with a guy that is the girlfriend's brother. And he runs the massage parlors in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, tough dude.
Yeah.
I really liked him. Really respect him. But I mean, it's scary, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so you got a deal for 5%. I got the same deal with Schiffer. Yeah, it's not good enough for me. I want more. So I did some research, and he pulls out the book that was by Michael McCabe on the New York tattooers.
Yeah.
And he says, this is the style of book we're going to make. It's going to be this many pages. It's going to cost us this much to make. You put in half. I put in half. We'll split it right down the middle. What do you say? No, these guys are hanging out by the pool in bathrobes. And Eddie puts out his hand for me to shake, and I see a $sign on that hand. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to be part of this shit. I didn't even think about it. Like, let's write this book. So we go inside to eat. There's cocksuckers, motherfuckers, fuckers at this table. Every other sentence.
Yeah.
And then Eddie's friend says, I noticed you don't swear at the dinner table. You're a gentleman, aren't you? I said, well, maybe. And he says, you got a girlfriend? I said, no. He says, that's by choice, isn't it? I said, well, there's no reason. I lived in LA. I'm, 39.
Yeah.
I don't have any plans on settling down. And Eddie gives me the tapes, and I said, okay, cool. This will keep me off the streets. And he says, the brother, there's no street in you. And I'm like, you got me on that one. There's no street in me. It's all suburbs. So I went home and started knocking out the tapes. And Eddie says, how are you going to write this? And I said, I'm going to write it verbatim, as you say on these tapes, so that when someone reads it, they hear your voice as if you're talking to them. That's cool. And then that's what we started doing. And that's how the book started.
Was there structure to the tapes, or was it just kind of him going home every day and rambling, or like?
He was so structured.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. His notes were impeccable. So we wrote the first book, and I'd say, wow, Eddie, that's a great story. That's got to be in a book. Okay. That's the next one. And he would call a friend, and they would talk about when it happened, in their minds, and they would, collectively put things in a linear fashion.
Oh, that's great.
And he was very meticulous about that. And then he knew that I was writing it verbatim. So he would record. And when he was done with that portion, he would turn it off, collect his thoughts, and then say exactly what he wanted to say. And then that way I would transcribe it word for word and then try to punctuate it to get his cadence.
Yeah.
Because he had a very unique way of speaking. And so I would always try to get that cadence,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard I listened to those tapes at least 50 times.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Right. So, and that's how book 1 started. And then when book 2 came, he started talking about Philadelphia. And book 2 is my favorite because, like, if you read like John Steinbeck and Cannery Row, John Steinbeck takes you right into Cannery Row. Doc and all the characters that are working in those canneries and things like that. In volume 2, he takes you into Chinatown, 1963, 64.
Whoa.
And he tells you about all the characters in that neighborhood. Like, and the things that they did. Like, one character I always remember is poor Stanley. And Stanley had a limp. And poor Stanley, worked at May's Tavern, at May's Tavern. And they asked poor Stanley if he wanted to go to the racetrack with them. And Stanley said, yeah, I just need to go talk to May and get my paycheck early. And so they go into the bar with him. And May says, yeah, sure, Stanley, you can have your paycheck early. But I'm deducting all of the money for the dishes that you broke through the week.
Oh, shit.
And Stanley says, yeah, okay. So he went into the kitchen and pulled all the dishes off the rack and broke them and says, you don't know me anything, May. Fucking stories like that, right? Like, that's the character. Those were the characters in volume 2. And it was just like, man, I'm sure Chinatown's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
And like, he really captured Chinatown in the 60s in Philadelphia.
Brilliant.
Fucking great stories.
Brilliant.
Right.
Oh, man. So shit. Okay, so you guys got the books rolling and everything, and then you started traveling with Eddie to promote the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did the first one at Mario Barth's, 2010. And after that weekend, I said, I'm quitting my job. I'm gonna go travel with Eddie. And people said, I don't think that's a wise idea. You really do need your job. I said, no, fuck this. This is an adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so I just was his sidekick for Bowery Stan and Eddie.
How many shows were you guys doing a month?
We did 27 a year.
Okay.
That's a good
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
dude.
A lot.
Yeah.
27 a year. Yeah. And
That's around the time. That's when we met, right?
Right.
Because I remember
Yeah.
you come and you moved to Vegas, or I can't remember where you were at.
No, I was living in LA at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, living in Skid Row.
I remember you in the parking lot when we would open the shop. You'd be sleeping in the Cadillac.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
That
we'd
big
roll
blue
up.
Cadillac.
And then we would like give you water or something when you come in. It'd be hot as fuck in the desert.
Derelict rider.
But we enjoy. Oh, man.
That was a lot of fun. I remember
Yeah.
that one time sitting in the back in the artist area where you were. And you walked up to me and you're like, what do you actually do? I said, I don't even know. I said, I don't know, Charlie. I'm just along for the ride. I write these books. Eddie gives me money. And he just keeps the adventure rolling. You know? Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I think of some of those shows that we went to. Like one of my favorites was in Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Right across the river from Portland.
So fun.
Yeah.
We got my dad, Charlie Spencer, on the mic. He's off set right now, but I mic'd him up so he could jump in here and there.
Yeah.
So we sat down at a table in Vancouver, Washington with Lyle Tuttle,
Yeah.
Eddie,
And Jay Brown.
Jay Brown. Okay.
Yeah. And he's running the Rossini crew.
Okay.
And who was one of Eddie's hitmen of the hit squad.
Okay.
Yeah. They had a hit squad.
Okay.
That's a great story.
I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That was a great
I just
convention.
remember Lyle telling some pretty fucking wild stories that were actually
that's
like
a surprise.
Yeah, he was taking over that table. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we could talk about what he's talking about.
Can we?
Yeah.
Can I butt in here?
Yeah.
Do you remember Lyle sitting down with us?
Yeah.
And we're all having breakfast, and he goes, "You guys want to do some lines?"
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "It's 8:00 in the morning."
Yeah, I know.
We're
His
hungover from
famous
last-
line was, I quit doing nose candy. And you'd go, really? When? And he'd go, about a half hour ago, but my guy's going to be here any minute now. That was
Man, that dude.
He was like 85 at the time.
Yeah.
no slowing down with him.
Well, he was just
No
telling us
slowing
stories
down
about
with
how he
him.
smuggled it back in like
In his cane.
cane or
Yeah.
some sort of cylinder type
Yeah.
thing. I remember. I don't know why.
Showing us his trusty cane.
Yeah.
And it was full of cane.
Yeah. It's like I literally just brought this back
This
from
makes
Colombia.
sense to
I was
me.
like, what the fuck? That's wild.
Yeah. And I remember like one of the first questions he ever asked me was, do you know how much $1 million in $100 bills weigh? It's 98 pounds. Like, I remember like he gave me the answer. Like,
Because he fucking knew.
he knew.
He knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
Yeah.
He just spent it on coke.
Yeah.
He was a character, man.
Yeah, they all were.
Yeah.
They all were. That was like a prerequisite to being a fucking tattooer in those days. You had to have personality.
Yeah.
Who was
Yeah.
going to sit in your chair if you didn't have personality?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had to have the balls to kick him out.
Yeah. I was watching little interviews with Stan and Eddie, and they were just ranting. There's only a few videos on YouTube right now.
Those are the ones
Eddie.
those are the ones from that special week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fucking hell of a week.
Yeah.
And this is the thing is like these 7 books. How many tattooers have a book out? How many tattooers have part of their story told? To have the whole life of Eddie and the fact that he is quite possibly one of the most one of the most interesting tattooers in the history of the game.
Yeah.
The fact that we got these 7 books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to know. So many tattooers who were important are just going to fall by the wayside because their stories ain't told.
Yeah.
Stanley, prime example. We got a few people who know the stories and that verbal history will go on, but this is fucking solidified.
Yeah. And someone asked Eddie once, well, is this true? And Eddie says, well, yeah, all the parts are true except the ones I made up.
Well, I don't know why. I was just thinking about one story I remember in there where they broke into some brewery in the middle of the night and fucking jumped into the beer
Yeah,
in
he was
Denmark.
swimming in beer in
fucking
Denmark.
in the beer.
Yeah.
That was
Who does
Yeah.
this shit?
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, that was with Tattoo Oli.
Okay.
Yeah. They got locked in the brewery, and yeah, I mean,
That happens all the time.
right. And he says they were swimming in the beer.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude,
God bless him.
he was also a ladies' man.
Oh,
yes.
Insane. Like you were talking
Not
about
on.
how he made you feel special. Every time I was around him, my sister was standing next to
Yes.
me.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
pay a
Forget
fucking
about it.
lick
Yes.
of attention
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah,
dude.
no.
He would literally wouldn't even look at me.
I remember an interaction when he came to the shop, and you said he was talking to your sister, and he's like, sweetheart, blah, blah, blah. And you come walking over, and you go, you want me to give you a tour of the shop? And he goes, no. And then turns right, turned right
So
back to
true.
Courtney. He didn't
Yeah.
miss a fucking beat.
Yeah.
I was-
Oh my
yeah,
god.
Eddie, you wanna sign the door? No.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know who's so sweet was Stan Moskowitz. He was sitting right
Yeah.
there, and he goes, "I'll take a tour."
Yeah.
He was so fucking sweet,
Yeah.
which is ironic that he had such a hard ass.
Stanley
like-
was still so obsessed with tattooing up until the end.
Yeah, up
still
until the end.
absolutely obsessed with tattooing. Stanley was.
Yeah, I've saw him at multiple shows, just sitting there working, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
working.
You know, one day we were driving home, and this is when I lived in Vegas. I bought the house here, and we were coming back from the tattoo convention, Mario Bar's tattoo convention, and we drove up Las Vegas Boulevard, and we got to where the Mirage was, the volcano's going off, and Stan says, "You know, I love America." And I said, "Well, yeah, me too, Stan. Why do you love America, Stan?" And he says, "Because here I'm a guy with very little education, and with elbow grease and a tattoo machine, I was able to support my family, buy property, and make a living with a little education and a tattoo machine."
So cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, I was thinking about this recently. In 1961, when tattooing went legal in New York City, him and his brother fought and were able to get it overturned for another year. He told me they spent $200,000 on attorneys in 1961. The other day, I was thinking about it and I looked it up. That's $2.1 million in today's money.
yeah.
So for two tattooers to have that kind of scratch at their fucking disposal, was it just tattooing?
Funny you mention that.
That's a fucking
Everyone's going to have a side hustle, right?
yeah.
Stan told me when they lived on the Bowery or in Brooklyn, one of those, I think it was in Brooklyn, his mom used to make whiskey on the stovetop and then put tea bags in it to dye it, and she sold that to the bums.
Brilliant.
Okay.
That's what he told me. I mean,
yeah.
and I believe it. If Stan tells me,
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm not going to
no reason
question
to
him.
lie.
But like, yeah, she used to make like rock gut whiskey and sell it to the bums.
Brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd come out with shit like so matter of factly, and you were like, is this for real? Like, I remember one time he was telling me how he invented a treadmill for dogs. And I was like, well, why did you invent a treadmill for dogs? He was like, because I used to fight pit bulls. And it was like, well, of course you did. You know?
Yeah. Right.
And then afterwards, I'm like, did he fight the pit bulls? Or what? 'Cause I wouldn't rule that out.
yeah. There was always a little surprising thing
Yeah.
with Stan. We would drive from Fort Lauderdale up to Philly, and we would pass a spot. He goes, "Oh yeah, this is where I was in jail for 2 weeks." Dan White was the sheriff. We left New York City. I was 13. We were going to go down and pick fruit. There was one kid that had to get away because apparently he had killed somebody. And Stan says, "You know, I need to go make some money, so I'm going to go pick fruit." And they got picked up by the sheriff in this little North Carolina town, put in jail for 2 weeks, and they were eating beans and rice or something like that and some shitty coffee. And I guess Stan's father let him sit there for 2 weeks so that he'd never run away again. And that's when Professor Wagner said, "We need to teach Stan to tattoo so he's not wandering out and getting in trouble."
Wow.
And that was, he says, then he came back to New York and started tattooing.
How about that? I
Yeah.
never knew that.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the things they used to tell me on the road.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say,
you would have both of them in your car.
yeah.
You guys would be
In
out.
their car.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're driving their car. They're cruising.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and
Yeah.
Eric, can you tell the story about the rubber chicken? I love the story.
rubber chicken.
You sent me a photo, a picture. You told me not to share it with anybody until you did something with it. So I'm still holding on to it.
That
I
rubber
have never
chicken's-
shared it with anybody. Stan buying a rubber chicken.
Oh, no, it was a rubber alligator. It was a rubber alligator. A rubber alligator.
Yes. Sorry.
So we stopped off in a little place in Florida to get gas, and it's a souvenir shop. And Stan, he walks up and Eddie's buying something, pulling some change out of his pocket. And Stan's like, "Gee, Eddie, what you buying?" He says, "I'm buying this rubber alligator." And he's pulling out all of his change out of his pocket to pay for this. And Stan's like, "Oh yeah, okay." So then Stan's walking out of this. He says, "I'll carry it to the car for you." So he grabs the rubber alligator in one arm. He's got oranges in the other, and he waddles off to the car. And it was just like that weird moment, like, here's the toughest dude in the world that I know. And he's got a rubber alligator in one hand, oranges in the other. It was just a really surreal moment.
Humanizing.
Yeah. And it was kind of endearing.
I've never shared it with anybody.
Oh, you can totally share it now. Yeah.
He was a tough motherfucker.
But very endearing.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Stan, like, I know you're homicidal. I mean, I know this. You don't even hide it. You know, you talk about
those old stories were scary.
Old stories, cutting someone from neck to ass.
Yeah.
If those old stories were told to us by someone who wasn't an old teddy bear, I think we all would have been scared shit of. I mean, we had every right to be scared shit of.
Yeah. And I asked him, I said, you're one of the toughest dudes I ever known. And the guy that kind of was a fixer for Eddie said that Stan is the hardest individual he ever knew. Because he says, I've seen Stan get knocked out and then get back up and kick someone's ass. That's a hard you don't find. And I said, "Stan, how are you so sweet to us?
Yeah.
But you're this hard." And he says, "Oh, Eric, I wanted to be nice like you. I wanted to be a kid that played Little League and went to the park and stuff. I didn't have that chance. I was tattooing bums by the age of 14.
Right.
And every day was a battle for my life. I had to fight these people with like Tony Polito, and their chair magic."
Right. Now, people don't realize that it's so accessible these days, but back in the day, you only got tattooed if you were a scumbag. Regular people did not get tattooed.
Yeah.
You were a bad motherfucker, you were a prostitute, or you were just a degenerate. There were no in-betweens.
Right.
So the clientele that they were dealing with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
As a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, at 14, my balls hadn't even dropped yet.
Right.
I mean,
You're rollerblading and
looking
looking at Playboys. I shot him under the bus. I didn't even give you a skateboard. I just threw a rollerblades at you.
It was the 80s.
Maybe I was rollerblading. How about that?
It was the 80s. We didn't have rollerblades yet. That was the 90s. But if it was the 90s, I would have been doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
That was me.
But so like Stan at 14, he's got to defend himself with a ball peen hammer.
Yeah.
And defend everyone in the shop.
Yeah.
I mean, the story of him hitting the dude in the forehead with the hammer because he, well, how did that go down? He said something to his father or something.
No, I think he punched him Stan got punched in the stomach.
Oh, Stan got punched. Okay.
Yeah. And he didn't like that. So he hit him in the head with the ball peen hammer.
That's another great story. They kept checking on him. They threw him, after they were done beating the shit out of him, they threw him in the back in the alley. And they were like, we thought in the morning we'd find the rats eating him.
Yeah.
But he just disappeared at some
That was
point.
another beating.
Oh, that was a different beating.
That was another beating. Yeah. They were always getting in fights.
Right.
Sounds like it, yeah.
And then the weird thing about these books is every once in a while I get a message from someone's grandkid. Bill Killingsworth, his grandson messaged me, "Hey, I read the books. I'm Killingsworth's grandkid." I'm like,
Whoa.
"Holy shit, man! The stories I hear about your grandpa." He's like, "Oh yeah, my grandpa was a wild one." Brooklyn Blackie's grandkids have been contacting me, saying we've been looking for information about our grandpa, and this is the most information we've found.
Wow.
About his shop
on
Surf Avenue. No, Stillwell. On Stillwell.
Yeah.
And they said, do you have any more information? I said, listen, everything I got is pretty much in the books. So it's right there, So Michelle is her name. She's contacted me several times saying, is this picture from my grandfather's studio? I said, oh, no, that one's 8th Avenue.
Now, where did the bulk of the photos come from for the books? Were they all in Eddie's collection?
No, he called out to friends.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he called out to
Because
friends.
they are chock full of pictures,
Yeah,
those
the
books.
Yeah. I don't know where, I think most of those, like he didn't have those photos. I don't know where they would be, but most of the photos he had, friends had sent to him. And then he'd write on the back what captions he wanted.
I got you.
Oh, cool.
Right. And one of them was, piece of shit, great grandson-in-law. It's got a contract on him.
Brilliant.
Because remember, he used to hand out his hit list to you. Do you remember that?
No. Well,
Oh
I didn't
shit!
get it.
Yeah. It's in book 6 or 7. He printed out hundreds of copies of his hit list, people he wanted out of the world,
Okay.
and one of them was scratched out because he was deceased, and that was Spalding.
Holy shit. Yeah.
I think Spalding was on a lot of people's list.
Yeah, but like and he would like first time he'd meet someone, he'd say, "Hi, I'm Eddie. This is my hit list," and people would be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Just so we're clear, these are the people I do not enjoy.
Right. And I remember one time when I was visiting him in Florida, and I said, "Hey, Eddie, whatever happened to that detective that you used to hang out with and get your weed from in Philadelphia?" I think the guy's name was Frankie Miller. I can't remember. And he says, "Oh, yeah, Frankie." He says, "I don't know, Eric. I imagine he passed away." I said, "I was just thinking about him the other day." We go to a restaurant, and this big guy walks up to Eddie and says, "You're Sailor Eddie, aren't you?" And Eddie says, "No, I'm not Sailor Eddie."
That was his nemesis.
Right.
Wow,
And the guy goes, yeah. I know you're crazy, Philadelphia Eddie. Sailor Eddie was across the river. And Eddie goes, "Yeah." And then the guy says, "You used to drink at May's Tavern." And Eddie says, "No, I didn't." And he goes, "Yeah, okay. You drank at the Mall Tavern that was owned by May." And then Eddie goes, "Yeah, okay.
Weird.
You know me, but who are you?" And the guy says, "I'm Frankie's protege. I was the rookie cop underneath Frankie, who you used to get your weed from." And Eddie goes, "That is crazy because Eric was just asking about what happened to him." And he says, "Oh yeah, he's passed on." And then he says to Eddie, "Do you remember that time when we pulled out the guns on that guy because he had assaulted the dispatch lady from the precinct in that neighborhood?" And Eddie goes, yeah, I remember that. And he says to Eddie, he goes, "We unalived that guy." And then he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, we used to kill people back then." Anyways, Eddie, good to see you. Glad to see you're still kicking.
And the cops are in trouble now.
Yeah.
Now they're
I'll probably get in trouble for telling this story. I don't know. And then Eddie goes, "Hey, Eric, go out to the car, get books 1 and 2. I'm going to sign it and give it to him." And he says, "Yeah, this is from, the book 1 and 2 from the neighborhood, because in book 1, that's the beginning story of Jack Dracula, who was like bad luggage for Eddie in Philadelphia. He brought him there and then couldn't get rid of him.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's
So,
wild.
and Eddie would say it's these circles in life and they're all connected. And one day we were in the car and I said, "I'm really glad that I didn't settle down and have kids because I wouldn't have been able to go on this adventure with you and write these books. I wouldn't have had the money. I'd be raising kids and I couldn't just take off and travel."
Yeah.
And he put his finger on the dashboard and he said, "Eric, what we're doing is destiny. You didn't make this decision and I didn't make this decision. This book was decided upon generations before you and I were born." And that was one of those profound moments with Eddie. Like,
Yeah. Gives me the chills, dude.
he was tuned into something, man.
Yeah.
He would talk about Flash. He says, I would draw something and I think that I invented it. And then I go to a tattoo shop in Chicago and there they got that same design sitting by the phone and I haven't tattooed anyone with it. He says, we were all sharing the same
imagery. And stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like when you did the Fight Club thing, you would put out a description of it and then these images would come back by other tattooers and they were all pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some differences.
Shit. Yeah.
But you guys are all feeding on the same mental images and stuff. That shared culture. And as
It's true.
Yeah, that's
That is
wild.
true.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And if you're a fucker in this business, people know.
Yeah.
And if you're a stand-up guy, that gets out too.
Yeah.
What was Eddie's reason for stopping tattooing? Because he still stayed relevant in the tattoo industry for 2 decades after tattooing. What was his reasoning for quitting tattooing full time?
The customers
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? They got to him.
couldn't stand him.
Hmm.
He couldn't stand him.
Oh, I can't even imagine what he'd do these days.
I'd be baking a cake with a file in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Stan would have cut him neck to ass too. You know what I
no
mean?
joke. No joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching some interviews earlier too, and he was just talking a lot about how he didn't enjoy the fanciness of tattooing, you know,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
how it became upscale and fucking,
Yeah.
you know, and he was just real not into it. Yeah. I was also there. I was watching some videos of him telling. He told 2 different stories about when he got his first tattoo. Was it by Stan? Because he went into. He was telling a story.
Maxie Peltz did his first tattoo.
Yeah, Max Peltz.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there was one story that he was telling where he went in and he got tattooed by Stan, and then he pissed off Stan, and then
Oh.
his brother came out in the back holding the fucking ball peen hammer.
Walter had tattooed 2 birds on him and charged him what he thought was double.
Okay. I thought he was talking about Stan doing the tattoo.
No,
okay.
and then Stan came around the corner and said, "What do you give my little
Stan was
brother?"
the enforcer.
Yeah, Stan was the
okay.
enforcer.
Walter
Okay.
was not.
Yeah, because he said one of the wings is under my nipple and one's on top of my nipple, and he goes, the guy just hit me in the back of the fucking head, and goes, I don't know what the fuck he said.
One's a boy bird, one's the girl bird.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
you know
exactly.
anything?
And so he still got him, right?
Yeah, he still got him. Yeah. But that happened after he got him. He stuck with them.
Brilliant.
And then he gave him he thought they were $2.50. And so he gave him, I think, like a $10 bill, expecting $5 change.
Because
And he
you're not
just said he
getting me
tucked it
change.
in his pocket.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, I was going to tip you, but where's my change?" He's like,
Yeah.
"There's no change.
Yeah.
On the chest is double.
Yeah.
It's $5 a piece, $10." And that's when he got mad.
Oh, okay.
And then he started giving Walter a hard time. And then Stan came around the corner with a chain and a razor.
Yeah.
And said, "Are you messing with my baby brother?"
Yeah.
I would not mess with Stan's baby
They
brother.
tattooed very classic for a very long time. It wasn't until 98 that Stanley started wearing gloves.
Oh God.
When
yeah.
I first went and got tattooed by him, there weren't no gloves. They weren't wearing gloves. They were still. It wasn't until he went to do conventions that Civ pulled him aside and was like, you're gonna have to wear gloves. Like, people are not going to be cool with this.
Yeah.
But it was still community ink pots, and you went early so that you got clean ink.
Yeah.
Dude, I
And
got
no
the fucking,
gloves.
I
And
got the flounder and the hammer.
What blew my mind was the fact that when I tattoo, my hands are covered in shit by the time I'm done. There's ink and blood and God knows what everywhere. When he was done with a tattoo, there was nothing on his thumb. His thumb, because he used acetate stencils. So you'd use the thumb to push the
graphite.
powder into the grooves. Aside from that, there was no ink on his hands, no blood on his hands. He did the finger wrap, the old school finger wrap. So there'd be, he'd dab with that.
Yeah.
But it blew my mind that he was such a clean tattooer. We didn't have to worry about that. We had gloves on, so it didn't matter how messy we were. But before us, that was something you took into consideration. You didn't, of course, you don't want blood and ink on your hands, but it's something that I had never thought of until I saw him tattooing without gloves and was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So much more to think about.
Another thing I never considered until we were chopping it up one day is that why all the tattooers were in Chatham Square.
Yes.
Because it was a direct current.
Yes. DC, not AC.
Right. For their tattoo machine.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was a lot of these areas, a lot of the lower income, the Bowery, and in Norfolk, Virginia, same thing. There were such poor areas that they couldn't afford to upgrade their electric, so they stayed with the old electric. So basically, the Bowery was run on a huge bank of batteries. It was just dry cell batteries, but the benefit was there was no ripple in the current. So you could literally plug your machine right into the wall, no power unit, no nothing. And you're getting clean current right out of the wall. There's no ripple in your current like there is with AC current. So that's why the Bowery was the spot for tattooers, up until, I don't think it was until the 60s that they changed it over.
Dang.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Pretty
Right.
fucking wild.
Yeah.
Method to their madness.
Yeah. Yeah. And when Eddie would talk about I remember one day he says, "Well, you always knew when there was a new tattooer in your area, when car aerials started to disappear. The
What do you
car
mean?
antennas went off.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. And he says, and I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you know, that's your tube. You get a couple bicycle spokes. That's your needle
bar.
That's your needle bar.
Oh,
Okay. Then you
I
start
never
building the
heard of that.
machine off of things in the neighborhood. So if all the antennas start going off of cars,
Right.
someone's building tattoo machines.
I remember Stanley telling me that they'd get the stencil material, the acetate. They'd steal them off of when convertible cars became a thing. The back windshield.
Oh,
of the
okay. Yeah.
convertible car was
Yeah.
easy to turn into a stencil. You know.
Right. And then how the spring of the machine was the binding that goes around the cardboard boxes for the refrigerators.
The
They could
strap.
cut that in,
metal strapping.
that steel wrap. Yeah. They would cut that into the spring. And that was, you know,
Damn, I
and then
never
they
heard
would
of
get the
that.
needles from tailor shops and solder those together. You know,
Oh, okay.
and I remember one day Eddie saying to me, like, you know, we were coming back from a convention and he's getting upset that there's too many tattooers and eating the pie up. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he goes, Eric, he says, it was a bowl of cherries. You know, you didn't even have to change your needles for 6 months. And your grip gets a worn-in groove from the needle because it's keep going back and forth, and it just sits in there perfectly. Then the health department comes around and makes you fucking change that stuff.
Makes you get rid of your favorite needle.
Oh my god.
Wild stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit of that when I first started. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
Well, I mean, the only reason that in all reality, the only reason that we don't reuse needles is because we use stainless, and stainless wears down super quick. If we were still using carbon, chances are we'd still be using our needles over and over and over again. Like I was talking about earlier, they did get better as you went on. You know, a carbon steel needle, first off, it doesn't go dull. It would break before it would get dull. It'll never go dull on you. The tip would snap off before it would dull down.
In a customer?
Sometimes.
Oh my god, I've seen.
But
that
the beauty of it was the fact that carbon was had the texture to it, so it would hold ink so much better. Now, working with carbon was absolutely phenomenal. Like it was like you know, sometimes when you're tattooing and you pull a line and you get 4 lines and you're like, what the fuck? It's not one clean. That never happened with carbon because they were so saturated in ink. But because carbon rusted, we felt that it was no longer a good thing for tattooing. We should go with stainless. In all reality, what are you going to get 3 hours out of a stainless steel needle before it starts wearing down? If you're using a steel tube, you start seeing the damage almost immediately on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where I was going with that. So, but what is better? What is better?
Yeah.
Now, if you're using a sterilizer between customers, there's nothing wrong with reusing your needle. It's not like a doctor is going to throw out his fucking scalpel between surgeries. No, it goes into a sterilizer. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, I think that the new generation has this misconception of reusing needles and like how disgusting it is. And it's like, is it? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, all our dental tools and everything were
Yeah,
reused.
they just told us to like take a toothbrush and scrub the skin off.
Right.
Make sure there was
Right.
no
Get
skin
between
on
them.
it.
Get
Put it back
between those
in with your
fuckers.
tube
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
redo it. Phil, you just reminded me of a story. I had an apprentice that ruined all your tubes one time.
I remember
Remember
that.
Who was that?
Josh.
Josh? Oh, the
Josh.
same motherfucker
Just
that
don't drop
rear-ended
his
me
last name.
while I was at a red light.
Yeah.
Kid was an incredible artist.
So good, so talented.
Incredible
He was a sweetheart.
artist. He was just goofy.
Yeah, he could build tattoo
tubes
machines
were so
overnight
rusty.
too, and all the wild shit. But
Every tube Phil had was covered in rust. And I was
How?
like, what the fuck happened?
never even seen that.
and we called Josh in and we're like, what did you put in those in the
In the ultrasonic.
ultrasonic? And Josh is like, oh, I thought I'd try something different. I can't remember what he put in there, but it ruined all of Phil's.
Well, didn't he go to
20
college
tubes.
for like metalsmithing
Yes.
too? Ironically,
Yes.
like you know how
We
to
saw
fucking
we
work
saw
with metals.
he did like bronze statues like in front of museums. And I remember like he was at the shop for a couple of months and I was like, well, what did you do before this? And he was like, oh, I did these statues. And I'm like, I'm thinking this kid's like at home with fucking Fimo clay making bongs and shit. And all of a sudden he's pulling out these pictures of these elaborate
Yeah, like
fucking
professional photos of like
statues in
What
front
are
of
you
libraries
trying
and
to
county
tattoo
buildings?
for?
Wow.
What are you doing?
And
uh,
But he was just he would try to do his own thing.
Yes.
So he decided he's going to experiment with Phil's tubes. Fucked all Phil's tubes up. Phil's mad at me because
Skinny
it's my
ass little
apprentice.
fucking
And I'm
steel
like,
tubes you were still
I didn't
using.
tell him to do that. I told him
cramping
that.
ass.
No, I remember his response to you when you said to him, you said, "Who told you to do that?" He goes, "Nobody told me not to do that."
Well, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, no one told you not
God
to.
bless him.
We're telling you now.
God bless him.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Shit.
man.
Yeah, I want to hear more stories about like I don't know, just I love the idea of you traveling across the country with those characters,
Yeah.
man. Like I just feel like those are some seriously. How
Yeah.
much content did you? You were never really able to pull stuff out of there and put it in the books, right? Because you were speaking.
Yeah.
Like you said you were writing through.
Yeah. So when we would be on the road, like, you know, Eddie would just ask me questions like, "Hey, do you know how much blue pigment costs?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Well, you know, it's this much. And when you pull it out of the ground, the guy that's mining it will say to you, 'Hey, I've got 2 sacks of this blue, and this cobalt changes 2 feet down. It's going to be a different type of blue. So you buy it. And then with your reds, this is what you do with your reds and your greens." And I said, "Eddie, this stuff has got to be in the books." He's like, "Yeah, okay." So he was always telling me these stories. Some of them weren't related to tattooing, but it really showed his personality. And I'd say, "Eddie, this has got to be in the book."
Mhm.
And he'd say, "Okay." So he'd take down his notes and kind of fit that stuff in there.
Oh, cool.
And one of the guys that he developed inks with, I want to say Wayne Green, but I don't know if that's remember. It's in one of the books. I think it's number 3. And the guy happened to work for a cosmetic factory. And he knew the chemicals, the colors, and how to produce them in a way that would be cosmetically safe. So you could put it in the skin.
Yeah.
And he really explained that chemistry to Eddie, because Eddie's vocabulary, talking about the surfactants, you know, how you add these things together to make an ink, you know, with diuretic acids and things like that. He understood the chemistry.
Whoa.
Eddie was a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah.
Someone wrote me and said, "Hey, I'm a tattooer, and I went to visit my mom in the home she's at. And a guy pulled me aside and said, 'Hey, I used to help develop inks with Crazy Philadelphia Eddie.'"
Whoa.
You know, like little weird things like that.
Yeah.
I'd say, "Hey, Eddie, this tattooer just reached out to me and he says he's met Wayne." "Oh, tell Wayne I says hello." You know, and you know, there was always these weird little things where, and everywhere we went, somebody knew Eddie. You know, we
Yeah.
were like in Hollywood at a bar, and someone says, "Aren't you Crazy Philadelphia Eddie?" He's, you know,
Yeah.
anywhere he went, somebody knew him.
Yeah.
And then if you talk to kids that grew up in Chinatown, they said, "Oh yeah, he tattooed me when I was 14. So like he was,
Shit. Yeah. He overall seemed like he had a real positive energy about him.
Yeah,
like,
always.
just a
100%.
salesman-y, naturally,
Yeah.
just stoked dude to tell. He liked to talk about himself.
Yeah.
Obviously,
And that hairdo always.
Oh, shit, man, right?
it just got more and more better the
Brilliant.
older he
Yeah.
got too. Yeah,
man, yeah, with the DuckTales in the back.
yeah.
Always the white shoes.
I have a-
Always white shoes.
I have a beautiful black and white
And a
photo
screwdriver in his
of
hand.
just his
That's it. Two.
like the bridge of his nose and up.
Yeah.
That I took at Mario's show here. I think that's probably the same show we were talking about at that time. I was dating a blonde, and I was getting tattooed by Stan, and I'm cringing, standing on one leg, getting my other leg tattooed while
The flamingo stance.
Yeah, Stan's tattooing that flounder with the fucking ball peen hammer through it. And I think Bob Tyrell had just got done getting tattooed. He's tattooing me, and then he's pushing down all of Bob Tyrell's bloody tissues with his gloves, and then coming back up and finishing my tattoo.
Yeah,
And
might waste those gloves.
I'm trying not to look, so I was trying to talk to Eddie, and Eddie didn't want to have anything to do with me because my girlfriend at the
That's
time next
it.
to me
Yeah,
is
that's
standing
right.
there, and he just
Yeah.
wants to talk to the blonde. So I'm like, man, all I want to do is talk to Eddie, and every time I'm around, there's a pretty fucking blonde.
That's
It's
it.
like,
Good luck.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah, good luck.
it was so fun.
Yeah, and then and the women were just attracted to him. You
Oh, my
know,
God.
What were the reactions like when you were traveling with him outside of conventions? I mean, in conventions, he was treated with the utmost respect. How did the average person take Philadelphia Eddie?
Shit, he charmed them.
Yeah.
He charmed them. It like he would, he kind of had his go-to things he would say, to women.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to run away with me? We can go to 2 places. You can choose Hawaii or Cincinnati, and somehow that line really worked with women. And then he would say something like pretty provocative, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, you got away with that?
Yeah.
And I tried to say something like that once. He's like, you're not old enough. I got shot down. He's like, you're not old enough yet, Eric. You got to wait.
That's so great.
So yeah, people really liked him,
Yeah.
And I remember being in a bar with him, a bar and restaurant, and, because he always smelled like Aramis,
Always.
and you could sell him.
You could smell him a mile away.
Right.
Yeah.
It was always Aramis, right? And I was sitting there at the bar, and there was some kids there, and one of them was a 12-year-old girl, and she goes, "Wow, you smell really good." I said, "Oh, it's not me, it's him."
Yeah.
She's like, and then her eyes lit up, who is this guy? But the kids loved this guy, and he was good with kids. But yeah, he always made a favorable impression on people, no matter where he went.
Guys and women liked him.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
couldn't help just be around him and be enamored with his
Just
presence.
a likable guy.
Did
Yeah.
he always rock the real elaborate suits and stuff, or was that
Always.
more? Yeah.
His
Always.
philosophy was, if you want to make $1 million, you got to look like $1 million.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that something that he's like, we were talking about him having a lot of money on the side, but these older tattooers, it didn't seem like they would, I mean, what was he spending his money on outside of just stacking it?
Women.
Yeah.
Ladies of the evening.
He did. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I just watched that.
Whores.
interview. Yeah. Yeah.
Whores, Eric.
Yeah.
Ladies of the evening.
He would trade.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't trade his time for it. He would get paid and yeah,
that transaction, I don't know. But I remember one time.
It didn't sound like he gave shit up for free.
Oh, fuck, man, that guy. Yeah, I remember one time. Because he always kept his money in his sock.
Really?
On his left leg. And we were going through TSA, and they noticed a bulge on his left, right on his left leg. And Eddie's in a wheelchair because he can't walk these long distances because of the emphysema.
Okay.
And they said, "Sir, we see something in your sock." He's like, "Yeah, it's my money." And they're like, "Okay, can we see it?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." And the guy puts on his gloves, and Eddie starts to pull up his slacks because he's not, he doesn't wear pants. He wears slacks.
Yeah.
He pulls up, and I see this big stack of hundreds sticking out of his sock. And the TSA guy starts to go to reach for it. Eddie goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. You see with your eyes, not your hands." And then put his pants back down. I was just like, fucking loved it. That
That's
was
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I was just thinking too about the story about him feeding the ducks
Oh, he loved
at
his
the
ducks.
retirement home.
He loved
fuck,
everything.
man.
He loved everyone
Dude.
and everything.
And they hated him feeding those ducks.
Tell the story.
So-
You got to tell the story.
So he's feeding the ducks, and this lady's like, "Sir, would you please stop feeding the ducks? They're going to make an awful mess, and it's going to smell bad." And her husband's like, "Just leave him alone. Don't fuck with this guy, And Eddie's, yeah, I'm not feeding the ducks. I'm feeding the elephants. But the ducks keep getting in the way. There's no fucking elephants. But so then the phone rings, and it's the HOA manager. And they're like, "Mr. Funk, you've got to stop feeding the ducks." "I'm not feeding ducks." "You're feeding the ducks, sir." "No, I'm feeding elephants." And then he says, "I'm not allowed to be alone by myself." And he starts playing the senile old guy bit. And then they're like, "Mr. Funk, we're going to call Stanley Moskowitz if you don't quit this behavior." And he goes, "Oh no, don't call Stanley." He had
Now,
so
mind
much.
you, to preface this, at the door that they're talking him at,
Yeah.
there's a skid of duck food.
Yeah.
Legitimately. Like, I have a photo. I'm going to send it to you so that you could post it on this.
Yeah.
Because it's literally him standing at the door feeding the ducks with bags and bags and bags of duck food.
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
Yeah. I mean, 50-pound bags.
Literally.
That's so funny.
Right. And he would go out there with just cups and just dump the stuff. And they'd get mad. They're like, the duck's shit. I didn't care. He's feeding his ducks.
That was his philosophy. I'm an old man. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and I love
supposed to feed the ducks.
Don't call Stanley. And then like one day, I always loved it when the phone rang and I was over at the house and like he'd start talking with someone and this guy's like trying to sell him cable. And then he's like, no, I'm not interested. He's like, no, sir, this cable's great. He's like, all right, I'll take 2. And the guy says, well, you only need 1. He's like, no, I need 2. That sounds really good. I want 2. And the guy says, well, I'm only going to sell you 1. And he goes, okay, he goes, okay, would you like to pay by credit card or check? And then he goes, I'd like to pay by cash. And the guy says, we don't take cash. And then he goes, well, what about vodka? Do you take vodka? And the guy's like, no, we don't take vodka. And he goes, oh, don't let Putin hear you say that. He'll cut your balls off. You know what I mean? Like anyone that called up to that house.
Just got some shit.
It was great. Yeah, it was great. And to be on the listening end, sitting there.
Facts.
That old man had so much fun fucking with people.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of other things too, also besides tattooing. Like he started a tattoo supply company
too
early on,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So he had some pretty wild stories with those.
Right. And the Tattoo Association.
Really?
That was him.
Right.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
Fucking way, dude.
Yeah, because he knew that there was, because they'd gotten steamrolled in New York and pushed out. And so if he figured the tattooers got together and everyone's paying some dues, they've got a bankroll to hire good lawyers.
Yeah.
How long in did he start doing the conventions? Do you know what year he started doing the conventions? His convention.
He was the second to do conventions. David Yurku was the first.
That was 76.
And that was Minneapolis. So it'd probably be right around 77, 78.
Oh, really? Still in the 70s.
Right.
Okay.
And I remember like, it was the first convention we did here in Vegas. And we go to the post office to pick up some books. And I was wearing a jacket that day too, a nice sports coat. And we walked in and like the 2 people behind the post office took a look at us. And one of them goes, I'm on my break, and walked out. And then he's like, yeah, we're here to pick up some books, And they're getting the books. And Eddie says, did I ever tell you how I used to do conventions? I said, no. He goes, I'd go into the office with the manager, wanting to do a tattoo convention. And I'd pull out a joint and start smoking it in his office. And if he didn't kick me out, I thought, okay, we can do a convention here.
No.
In the 70s.
Testing the waters.
What the fuck?
Right. In the hotel manager's office, he would just pull out a joint and start smoking.
No shit.
And that's how he would test people to see if it was okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He had his methods. And he could read people pretty good.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
He thought you were crazy. He did. He thought you were crazy.
Really?
I know, he's absolutely right.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yeah, nailed it. Yeah. This guy's a nut, Eric.
That's flattering.
I feel like, and like this, like your story of how you got into tattooing and like how 2 big bikers knocked on your door to take your machines away from you when you were a teenager.
So cool.
It's fucking classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kept pushing.
I did.
Yeah.
I never gave up. I did now. I've recently given up.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I can just see your parents answering the door and there's 2 big dudes from a motorcycle club.
The one who was the most thrown off were the bikers. Like when they were like, well, who's doing the actual tattooing? And I was like, well, that's me. And they were like, come on, kid, who's doing the actual tattooing? And I was like, no, it's me. Like it just fucked out because they were there to kick the shit out of someone. Yeah. But they weren't going to beat the shit out of some 14-year-old kid. You know, they were like, what do we do now? So they gave me the option. Find somebody to back you.
Yeah.
Or be fucking done right now. If I were 5 years older,
you would have gotten.
I'd be done.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd be writing it.
So there was that guy Renegade.
Yes.
Right. And he used to tattoo. He was trying to get into the business. And Jack Armstrong He went into Jack Armstrong's shop asking about an apprenticeship where everyone else shut him down. Jack Armstrong was he says, yeah, okay, yeah, it sounds pretty good. He says, hold on a second, I'm going to make a phone call. I'll be right back, and we'll keep talking about maybe you doing an apprenticeship here. He said he went and made a phone call, and then Jack Armstrong came back, continued the conversation, and Renegade was saying, I really thought like the conversation was going somewhere. And he said, then I walked out of the shop, and there was 2 guys waiting for me, and they beat the shit out of me with a cane. He said they were artists with their beat down. That was his quote. They were artists with that cane. And like Jack Armstrong just stalled him until his goons got there. And,
fucking brilliant.
Jack Armstrong could have done it himself, but I guess, when you've climbed up the ladder high enough, you don't need to get your hands dirty anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe Michelangelo doesn't need to mix his own paints.
Yeah.
That's it.
As a couple goons do it. Yeah. But
Armstrong was another crazy personality, amazing personality.
Right. Now, he used to tattoo in Vegas for a while,
Yes,
didn't he?
he worked with Cornfed for a long time.
Right.
Yeah. Cornfed would bring him around to all the conventions.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oldest
One-eyed Jack.
tattooer in Vegas at the time, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. And wasn't he? And he was missing a piece of his ear and
He
stuff.
had one eye.
Yeah.
He had
One eye. Yeah.
One-eyed
Tough.
Jack. Yeah.
Tough. Okay. Then you think about like tattooers back in the day.
He was another one he started tattooing. His story went back to I want to say 10, 11 years old, Jack Armstrong.
Yeah.
He was I remember reading an article about him. As a child, he had he had a kit on his radio flyer fucking sled thing,
Yeah, that's what Stan
and
told me.
He'd just ride around on his bicycle with his radio flyer on the back and all of his equipment and just
What?
as a child.
That's like legend shit, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty bad.
At one point, he was the longest continuing tattooer. When he passed away, he was the longest continuing tattooer.
Where did he start out?
I don't remember. I want to say he was Midwest. I want to say he was somewhere in the Midwest, but I'm not 100%. I don't know too much on Jack's history.
No, neither do I. I just know that he was someone that you did not mess with. He started as a kid with a wagon, and if he stalled you, you better start running because he's called somebody.
Yeah.
There was another tattooer that Eddie talked about was Dickie Hilburn. And he was a guy that was on a skateboard, didn't have legs, and only had one arm. He was a one-arm tattooer.
What?
And he managed to support a whole family as a tattooer with no legs and one arm. And just tattooed with one hand. Yeah.
With a nub.
Yeah,
That's
starts
it.
with the nub.
That's
Yeah.
it.
No shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Stoney wasn't much different. I mean,
Yeah.
Stoney didn't have use of his legs and his hands. He used one hand to facilitate the other hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, okay, so then, I remember one time, and when I think of Stoney, I always think of Buddy Wheeler and Charlie Wheeler. Never had the pleasure to meet Charlie Wheeler because he had passed on before.
If he's anything like his son, he had to have been a hell of a guy.
Yeah. Total gentleman, right? So I'm in Sacramento, my hometown, having a cup of coffee. And one of my friends says, yeah, so how's your tattoo book going? I said, we're going to the conventions and we're selling them, we're doing okay. And this guy says, I don't mean to overhear you, but I'm from Louisville. Maybe you should give Tattoo Charlie a call. He could move those books for you. I said, well, I know his son, Buddy. And I said, I hate to tell you this, but Tattoo Charlie's passed on. And he says, oh, that's too bad. He sure was a nice guy. Did his son ever tell you about the time Lyle Tuttle shot him in the leg with a .22?
Oh my God.
Of course he did. So, of course Lyle did that. So I called Buddy. I said, hey, I was just at a coffee shop. Someone overheard me in my hometown, Sacramento, heard me talking about these books and said, I should give your dad a call because he can move these books. I informed the guy that your dad's passed on. But I just thought you'd want to know that your dad's legacy is still known as a guy that could move things and is a respectable person in tattooing.
Oh.
And he goes, "Wow, that's really nice to hear. Thanks, Eric." I said, "Yeah, and what's the story about Lyle shooting your dad in the leg?" And he goes, "God, who told you that story?" And I said, "Yeah, well, you know." And I guess they were messing around with a gun in the shop, and Lyle shot him in the leg. The gun went off.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
And Lyle
could
played
see
it
that
off
there.
like it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my
Lyle
God.
Tuttle was what a character that guy was.
No joke.
You know?
Another ladies' man too, like stuck
Right.
on the women. Any tattoo convention we were ever at, he was just he would just follow,
Yeah. Yeah.
follow him around.
Yeah.
Whoever's young and tattooing or whatever, or showed any interest in him.
Right. And then there's Stan.
Yeah.
He's the first one on the floor and the last one
Yeah,
to leave.
no joke.
He wasn't there for
Hardest
the ladies.
working
He wasn't there for the
motherfucker at the
ladies.
show.
No, he didn't give a fuck about anything other than tattooing.
Yep.
No, and,
which
and-
is so.
yeah, and
so
he would
cool.
sit on one cheek of his ass, like, because he had to sit in a way where his legs could not get arthritic on him.
Yeah,
And he would sit in this weird position for 12 hours.
he always looked really uncomfortable.
Oh, we've
Yeah.
seen him in his late 70s tattooing on his knees. You know,
Damn.
it didn't matter. It just so long as he was
told
tattooing,
me
he
he
didn't
started
give a
at 9 in
fuck.
the morning.
Yeah.
Every morning he'd start at 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he'd be after the show was shut down. He'd be there for an hour after everybody left.
Yeah.
If they wanted to pay, and get tattooed by him, he would be there.
Yeah.
So cool.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah. He wasn't there
Amazing.
for the drinks,
yeah.
the blow, the ladies, blow jobs and baby dolls. He was there for the moolah.
Yeah.
The bankroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He used to kill it.
Yeah.
7 decades.
Yeah.
7 decades of tattooing.
That's so crazy,
Yeah.
dude. That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Did you ever get tattooed by him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
only
got
got that
tattooed
one
by
one.
him.
Yeah.
Did I get tattooed by him outside of his shop? Oh yeah, I got tattooed by him at a convention here too. So I got the skunk in '98 at S&W Tattoo, like the year before they closed,
Yeah.
and then I got tattooed by him. It's dated. Both of them are dated. I think it's '98 and 2012. Yeah.
Damn.
Always
I
wanted
got
to get tattooed by his
him
brother, but
right
he just
after
wouldn't do it.
Austin. I got out of the chair,
sorry.
so he was still stuffing the towels down.
yeah.
Oh, so you
I
got
was
the same
next.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
No, I
would
said,
would you end up
I
getting?
said, "Are you tired of doing that one?" And he goes, "Charlie, I'm really kind of tired of doing that one. What do you want to do?" I said, "What do you want to do?" He goes, "Well, I got this goat on a pogo stick that Timmy Tess designed." I said, "Fucking put it on me."
Where'd you get
got-
that? I don't know.
I
why.
know.
I see it in my head now, but
Yeah, I got a goat on a pogo stick somewhere.
Okay.
And I asked him when he was done, I said, "Stan, can you sign it?" And he looks up and he goes, "Charlie, what am I, a celebrity?" I said, "Sort of. Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah.
And I love how his flash near the end of the weekend was just a pile of designs. You know, it's like, and then like lowercase, like it's the rummage sale.
Yeah.
You know, and like, Stan, I'll get this one. Yeah, okay. You know, the top dollar price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the conventions that we went to that was poorly attended, but was the best convention we ever went to was the one at in Hollywood, which was the
Great
Old
convention.
timers.
yeah, and that was the roast of Hanky Panky.
Yes.
And Bob Roberts roasted him well done at that convention.
That was fun.
Did you go out there? Who'd you go out there with? Because I don't.
No.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think I
Yeah.
went to that one for some reason.
That was a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah, there, and I remember
Nobody showed up.
no one showed
That
up.
was why it was so good. There was nobody.
Dead ass convention.
It was just
But
tattooers,
it was
tattooing tattooers.
Yeah, it was just rubbing elbows all weekend, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's see. Good Time Charlie was there.
Shit,
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Great.
Yeah. Gil Monty was there.
That's
Eric Inksmith.
Eric Inksmith. Right?
That was a character.
Yes, he is. He is a character, and again, man, so many characters.
Yeah.
These days, I don't want to meet no new fucking tattooers. I ain't
No.
got nothing in common with these schmucks.
Did Eddie have any like cats that were still around that were hitting conventions that he kind of not butted heads with, but like wasn't a big fan of? I mean, at that age, he's probably
There was
Like
one guy. I remember his name was Todd, but I can't remember his last name. It was down in L.A. I remember Eddie had chased him once down down in Long Beach. And the guy had locked himself
Brilliant.
into an area where Eddie couldn't get to. And when we were at that convention in Hollywood, the guy Todd, I can't remember what his last name was. He approached Eddie, and Eddie goes, "That was a long time ago, Todd. Don't worry about that. That was a long time ago." And that's when he was working with Bob Shaw. Bob Shaw.
Yeah.
He was working with Bob Shaw.
Yeah.
And he had a problem with someone further down the pike or something like that.
Yeah.
You know that famous pineapple story?
Yes.
Okay, so we're at Bob Shaw. We walked out of where Bob Shaw shop was, and we're walking to the car where I have it parked. And I said, "By the way, Eddie, where was the checkerboard lounge?" He goes, "Oh, it was right here." It was 25 feet from the shop to the checkerboard lounge. That's how far he made it before he got a beer and got drunk with the big Samoan that took him to Hawaii. He made it 25 feet.
I never got the pineapple juice. I never even got the pineapple juice. Muzzy Enos. That was his name? Muzzy Enos.
Muzzy Enos. Yeah. And he said he could smell the beer 25 feet.
Oh, I just listened to that
It's
story.
a parking lot now.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, that's, and I was like, man, if like, because you kind of get the impression from when he tells the story that the checkerboard lounge was quite a ways down the pike. No, it's just
Literally
from
right
here
next to
to.
Is that the shop where we all signed the door? The wall?
It might. I mean, that was definitely
Bert Grimm's.
the pike. Yeah.
Yeah. And you had bought the 55-gallon drum.
Well, I wanted it.
Yeah,
I wanted it.
yeah,
We didn't
the
have a truck to bring
Vaseline.
it home. They offered it to us. They go, "If you can take it, if you want it, you can have it." And I'm like,
And it was all the petroleum jelly.
and it was like
It was like
1/3
half full, and I
full.
looked at my girl. I was like, "Did you hear that?" And she was like, "No."
We all wanted it.
Yeah.
And we're like, how are we going to get that back to Vegas?
And you showed me a picture of it, and like, there's dirt and grime on the top layer of the petroleum.
Still had the
jelly.
It was
cup
a strange
floating in
color.
Yeah.
It was a very
Yeah.
strange color.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, those are some
remember-
vintage supplies
They
aren't
said
so
that
good.
fell off a ship, right? That's what they got that off a ship.
I believe it.
And they used that. Every tattooer in the shop would scoop in the morning a cupful, slap it up, and you'd use that all day.
Delicious.
And that thing there was still a third of it in there. It had been used since probably the 40s.
So,
Wow.
so fucking roguish.
And they offered to give it to us. And we're like, shop. I just don't know where to put it.
Just in the lobby, in the corner of the lobby, you just got this fucking
It was
vat
gross
of
looking.
lube.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. I remember that picture. Yeah, and I remember like
Smell bad.
even the cup looked ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The cup looked like it was something in my
It's like an old
grandparents' coffee.
teacup.
Right.
It was like brown Vaseline. It was like brown on the top.
It was a very
Yeah.
strange color.
Yeah, and
That was good.
the way those guys would save money like that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were running businesses. And that's the thing was Eddie was saying like, when he was a teenager, you'd find a spot, you'd sweep the floor out, you'd build a little bench, you put your flash up, and you're open for business.
Right.
Yeah.
That was it.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, how many shops he opened? He said he had
60.
opened. Yeah, I was going to say 50 something, but yeah.
Yeah.
60 shops.
And he had the same formula down. Throw some chairs in the corner,
Yeah.
sweep,
Now,
like you said.
but so respectable. The Doc Dog story.
Right.
He opened. Was it? Where was it? It was in Van Nuys, where
Yeah.
Doc Dog shop was. And the rule at that point, it was not a written rule. It was respect among tattooers.
Yeah.
It was a 10-mile rule, and Eddie went to Doc Dog before he opened and said, "I found a place. I'm 10 miles. I'm 11 miles away from you." And he proceeded to build out the shop. And the day he was opening, he said, Doc Dog pulled up on his bike and said, 9.5 miles. I just timed it.
Yeah.
And Eddie handed him the keys and
Yeah.
walked away.
Damn.
Yeah. Those two gentlemen had such a good friendship. I got a lot of respect for Doc Dog. He was the first to open in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
He kept a lot of tattooers out of here for a long time.
Yeah, he did.
And
77 to 93, he was the only
77 to
act in town.
93. Yeah. And then when Mo passed away, who was a tattooer at his shop, he took care of Mo's final expenses.
Right.
Damn.
That's a stand-up guy.
Yep.
your story about him buying a boat or something.
Oh,
and
my
cash.
God.
Yeah,
Right.
dog.
Yeah.
$100,000 in cash in a McDonald's bag.
Yeah. From Ernie Becker, who owned Arizona Charlies.
Yeah.
Was going to buy that yacht. And the lawyer says, we can't do this deal. Like it's, you know.
That's awesome.
$100,000 in cash.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and the most money I've ever had in my life in cash is $4,000. And it went pretty fucking quick. I couldn't imagine $100,000.
Yeah.
And that was in what, 2015 I had $4,000.
So that's like
Been a long time since
now.
Right? Now I get paid and the bills get paid. That's it, you know.
So 60 shops. Like what all areas of the country? Like cuz he went from the East Coast all the way to Hawaii?
Never in Hawaii.
Never in Hawaii. Okay. Oh, okay. He
But
didn't
Do you know who he worked for in Hawaii?
I want to say it's Muggsy Enos.
It's in the books.
Yeah, I think it was Muggsy Enos. And it wasn't for Sailor Jerry because Sailor Jerry was around the corner. I want to say it was Muggsy Enos.
Okay, but it was back in the day, like
Yeah, 1950s.
that he worked in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And
okay.
at that time, the sailor rush was over. You know, the sailors weren't really there like they were in World War II.
Was he opening up specifically, like chasing that crowd or a crowd, or like
the shop?
What kept him moving?
He liked the adventure of
Yeah.
the road and what's over the hill, what's around the corner.
I think you like the hookers in Hawaii.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a thing.
And he was in LA
Yeah.
too. Like he opened up in LA.
Yeah. He opened it up in downtown LA. He was in Thousand Palms, you know, by the military base there with Dominic Chance,
Yeah.
who's a psychopath.
Really? Okay.
I asked him, I said, was Dominic Chance crazy? No, he's a fucking psychopath. Yeah, he's a psychopath, as he puts it.
Which the level of psychopath from really wild dudes like these dudes.
Right.
I'm like, if dude is put on
You gotta be
psychopath
something.
level,
You
like,
gotta be something.
God damn, that's okay.
Yeah, the Chance brothers. That's all in book one. And Dominic Chance and Eddie opened up that shop on 8th Avenue. And before that shop opened, Eddie tried to open a shop in Rockaway Beach. Brooklyn Blackie suggested he go there. Eddie's parole officer had told him everyone that he's picking up has Brooklyn Blackie's card in their wallet. You're not to be associating with these people. If you keep tattooing, you're going back to jail. Because Eddie was still on parole. So Brooklyn Blackie suggested he go to Rockaway Beach. So that shop does okay, but the cops are on him like white on rice, and they're going to shut this thing down. So Eddie says, well, pretty much shutting down. And Dominic Chance says, why don't we go to 8th Avenue? I got a spot picked out. We're going to do okay. So while they're in the 8th Avenue shop, Dominic Chance says, do you know why you can't have a shop in Rockaway Beach? And Eddie says no. And Dominic Chance explains to him, I had opened a shop there and a really bad fight broke out in my shop. And we sent quite a few people to the hospital in an ambulance. And that is why you can't have a shop. And Dominic went on to explain that some guys came into the shop to mess with his little brother, you know, and the other brothers came around and locked the door. And then they proceeded to beat up these guys, and like someone got their nose bit off, apparently.
Fucking name.
And yeah, Dominic Chance
was hungry.
Tattoo shops used to be awesome.
right. And he said that's why the cops don't want a shop in Rockaway Beach. And so Eddie's like, well, he says, so now I'm a partner with Dominic Chance on 8th Avenue. And he says, this guy's a psychopath. I'm gonna get in trouble hanging out with this guy. Yeah. So, you know, Dominic Chance, like he says, he was just a guy you did not mess with, you know? So
Damn.
yeah.
Oh.
Psychopaths.
Yeah. I want to hear all those stories.
Yeah, there's so
They're all in the book.
So that's yeah, no joke. This is what I'm saying. The book's got to get put back out eventually.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of wanted to say
HBO nibbled, and they were interested. And I remember them calling Eddie when we were on the road to ask him some stories. They asked him about the hammer fight in Coney Island, where the guy got a gaff hook put through his head, and then they beat the shit out of him, and the guy disappeared. And it's a hell of a story.
Yeah.
And
do you have that story?
Yeah. So there was a guy named Big Mike that was coming around Coney Island harassing people for free tattoos, which you didn't get. And Eddie said he was hanging out in his spot on Surf Avenue, reading his paper by the ledge. And the guy came and pushed him. And he's like, what the fuck's this all about? And this guy, Big Mike, says, you tattooed my little brother, and my dad's really sore about it. I'm going to straighten it out, but you're going to tattoo my leg for free. And Eddie's like, well, how old's your little brother? And he says he's 18. He's not 18 yet. He's 17.
Yeah.
And Eddie said, like, he knew the law was 16 at that time. So this guy's full of shit. But like, we're going to have a battle. And so the guy says, well, I'll be back around to sort this out with you after I sort it out with my dad. And the guy came back, and he says, you're going to tattoo my leg for free. And Eddie said, yeah, sure. Okay. Have a seat. Put your leg right here.
Oh my God.
And he said he reached up, he grabbed his hammer, and he says he came up and nailed him right in the forehead. And the guy was squirming on the floor, and Eddie thought, well, fuck, I killed him. And the guy got up and said, that you've just started a war. And Eddie says, yeah, that's right. And I still got the hammer in my hand. And the guy left. And then he came back a couple days later and started a fight in the shop and beat the shit out of Eddie's bouncer and sent him to the hospital, busted up his face.
Eddie had a bouncer in the shop.
Yeah. Because while you're tattooing, you're going to have someone watch your back.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty gangster. I like
it. Coney Island Freddie, who's in Brighton Beach, comes up to Eddie and says, we got a real problem with this Big Mike guy. He's been harassing me. He beat up your guy in your shop. We've got to do something about him. And Eddie says, yeah, that sounds good to me. So this Coney Island Freddie, his sister was dating a longshoreman, and a couple longshoreman goons said, we'll take care of this problem for you. So this Big Mike guy came back to the shop, and he poked his head in, and Eddie goes, oh, fuck, I got problems now. And the guy, Mike, poked his head out and went down the street and went into Brooklyn Blackie's shop. So Coney Island Freddie walks up to Eddie's shop and says, hey, that guy's in the neighborhood again. We got to take care of him. And Eddie says, I had my blackjack. I was ready to go. He says, let's take care of this motherfucker. So the longshoremen say, hey, you're going to go into the shop and tell him there's someone outside that needs to take care of him or want to talk to him. And Eddie says, okay. So he walks into Brooklyn Blackie's shop, and Brooklyn Blackie was relieved to see Eddie. And he goes, hey, Eddie. And Eddie's like, hey, Blackie, you okay? Blackie's like, yeah, I'm fine. He says to the guy, Mike, there's someone outside that wants to talk. That's as far as he got in the sentence. And he says, those longshoremen pulled out gaff hooks and hooked this dude and drug him outside and started kicking the shit out of him. And Eddie says, all you could hear was this thud, 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 thud. This Big Mike guy gets up, grabs the two longshoremen and slams their heads together because he's a big guy. And says to Eddie, you little fuck, you've started a real war now. You've started some real shit. And he says, my name is Mike Bonanno. And my uncle's Joe Bonanno. And the longshoremen backed up. They're like, this guy's a Bonanno.
Oh my God.
And Eddie said there was a guy in the crowd that used to hang at Eddie's shop. And his name was John. And John said, no, Joe's my uncle. Eddie, I know who this Big Mike is. And my uncle told him to stop using our fucking last name.
Uh,
You two guys, the longshoremen, you come with me. We're going to go talk to my uncle. Eddie, this guy's never going to bother you again. And that's the last Eddie ever saw of this Big Mike guy. When we went to Coney Island for that little convention there, we're walking around and I said, okay, Eddie, where was Blackie's shop? Right over there. And this was the ledge you were sitting on when he pushed you. And I said, yeah. And this is where you got the clap. Yeah, that's where I got the clap.
The first time.
The first time. And I said, and the hotel that you stayed in, where was that? He says, oh, okay, the hotel's gone, but it's across the street here. This is where the train comes down. And I'm kind of getting the place of things. And I said, so when you were a kid and this went down, he says, Eric, I was watching my back. I didn't know if I was going to get taken out because I was involved in this shit. And he says, for like a month, I was on pins and needles, not knowing what was going to happen. And he says, that Big Mike guy just disappeared.
Used the wrong name.
Fuck.
He used the wrong name.
Yeah. And that was the story he told the HBO guys.
yeah.
And they said, we already got a Sopranos.
Boardwalk Empire actually is what they said.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Boardwalk Empire is what they said. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
And they said, we've already got Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, so they weren't fucking around with like a documentary type thing. They wanted to write
Right.
a show
Right.
about his life and everything. I
and
still think it's coming, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
This
know.
is the
Something,
reason that it'll
yeah.
happen. This
Like,
is the reason
I don't
that'll
know.
happen.
I
I mean, those stories are fucking beautiful.
He was
They're-
married to 3 sisters. This
Two.
is this. You
Two
can't make
sisters.
this shit up.
2 sisters.
But he was with all 3 of them.
yeah.
That
Okay,
story is
okay.
awesome. You got to tell that story. So,
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So
yeah, I know there's a million stories, but these are so great. And
when he got to Pennsylvania, and now this is coming from the stories from him, and I'm going to piece it together. And I'm sure there's an ex-wife out there that'll argue, say that didn't happen that way. And I get it. Okay. But this is the story that I got from Eddie, was that there was 2 girls that worked at a luncheonette, and he was dating one of them. And then their sister came to visit, and he started an affair with her. And that led to marriage and a child. And a divorce. It's all in book 2. I mean, holy shit, man. You want to talk about a conjugal bliss. This fucking was not it. And so he divorced her. Years later, he met up with the girl he was originally dating, had a twin sister. He met up with her and married her. They got divorced, and then he married her again.
okay.
So,
Dude.
I
love it. Like, it's such a good story. I mean,
You can't make it up.
No,
You can't make this shit up.
yeah. And I've never talked to any of his ex-wives.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to.
I want to see if their names are on that list.
No.
Okay.
No.
Was it all men on that list?
No. His sister was on that list.
Oh, what?
His
And her husband.
and her husband.
Yeah. And that was over
His daughter got off the list.
Oh,
They
wow.
made amends.
Okay.
Chuck Spalding. And who was the other one? Chuck Spalding. Oh, was it? No, wait, was it his ex-wife?
This just reminds me of that Billy Madison scene where Steve Buscemi's like fucking putting the lipstick on and he's just crossing out the names.
Yeah.
Back to Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, and he used to carry that list around in his inside pocket.
Get the fuck out.
And when he would
Show-
meet someone for the first time, he'd introduce himself as Crazy Philadelphia Eddie,
Yeah.
and then hand him this list.
And he had the hit squad too. So
He did.
shit could get handled.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That was with.
So he's known for having goons. Like
Well, they were
his goons.
they were compadres.
Yeah.
So it was Bob Shaw, R.J. Rossini,
Pete Poulos,
yeah, Peter Poulos,
who was probably the baddest motherfucker of the bunch.
right, Eddie, and then Doc Dog. Those were the 5.
No shit. So he ran that close with Doc.
Really
That's
close.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I never got to meet him. I stood in the lobby of the shop and was scared to go upstairs.
Yeah, well,
I was like 14 at the
blame you.
time. Yeah.
You approach that man
Yeah.
with a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just like Eddie
Yeah.
or Stan, like,
I was a kid, dude. I was like
Yeah,
fucking terrified
right?
of those dudes.
yeah.
Like,
So they had an agreement that if someone opened up in your neighborhood, you would go on vacation with an alibi, and then they would come in, take care of shutting that business down, and then you'd come back from vacation, and that tattoo shop that opened up wasn't there anymore,
damn.
and
Yeah.
you're still the only one left in town.
And Doc was like known for bombing out Dante's shop, the tattooer that he got tattooed by when I was
No
like
comment.
Junior.
No
high.
comment.
It's just hearsay.
Just a rumor. Just a rumor. you
Fake
know?
news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the practices were,
Yeah.
they could have been real.
They got it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah. I mean, if you're too close,
Yeah.
you're too close. I mean, that's
yeah.
We used to I had a lot of people come asking questions about those.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
No, man. So now I'm working at a bus station now, which is just as crazy as the tattoo shop.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like you're drawn to this.
they're onto the crazy.
Yeah.
And I always figure I don't talk shit about nobody. I don't rat on anybody. I stay in my lane. You stay in yours. And
a
we'll
good
be
formula.
fine. We'll be
Yeah.
fine. Like I'm not gonna mess up your jam. You're doing something. I don't know anything. No one's going to ask me questions and they say, oh, yeah, okay. So we're doing this, that, and the other. No, you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You just do your job. You go home and you collect your paycheck. That's what you do. That's how unions work. So when I got that job, I shouldn't tell that story. I've got a scotch.
Yeah.
When I applied for the job,
Refill.
so I applied for a job because I needed a job. And it was right before Eddie passed. And so I applied for a job as a bus driver here in Vegas. And I went in for the interview. And the guy says to me, first question, what would you do if you saw someone in the company doing something that was against policy? And I was like, well, I think I might, I would. He says, good, you're not a snitch. You got the job. The answer is safety.
Yeah.
Can you start next week? I said, nah, my boss is really sick. I need to go out to Florida. And I got to pay vigil. So we were there until, Eddie died. I put a flower on his chest before they collected his body.
Oh.
And they gave me some time to do that. And then I became a bus driver.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were with Eddie until the end. That was Jerry Reds, Stan, Huey from Philly, and two other of his friends from Florida that he had met at Huey's bar, Luann and Dan. So the five of us kind of kept guard at his door because he didn't want anyone from his family coming. So we were keeping guard for him, And when he passed, tattoo shop. La Bamba tattoo shop had sent some flowers and I put a white rose on Eddie's chest. They came and, took his body, cremated him, and that was it. Yeah. So that's what he wanted. He didn't want a funeral or anything.
Yeah.
He always thought those were barbaric.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. So, and that was, a hurricane came in and they said, you guys have to go home. You can't stay at the hotel, at the hospital, at the hospice. And so we went home, and in the morning they called us, and he kind of passed when the hurricane was going through, which is fitting.
Yeah.
That dude was a hurricane, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, he was crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. No
So
joke.
fun,
Man.
man. Yeah. Those are, dude. So we can't get this book right now.
Somebody who was the supplier that has copies
Jimmy
of it?
Luck. Jimmy Luck.
Whitlock.
Yeah.
Lucky's?
Lucky's.
Okay.
Yeah, he bought what was left.
Okay. So there you
Really?
go.
Yeah. And then
Litwalk?
Whitlock. There's a Litwalk,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I always say the wrong one too. I always say the wrong one too. One's a killer tattooer, the other one's a killer machine builder.
Right. And I told him, and my word is on it, I'm not going to reprint these books.
Really?
Yeah, because he bought the lot, and you know, I mean, I couldn't ship them from Florida all the way to Vegas.
Yeah.
And so we agreed on a price, and I told him I won't reprint, you know, because that would cut his sale. So I imagine if you got a hold of him, you could get set up some books.
Yeah.
I am putting them out as ebooks.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3 are up already. And so like if you go on Amazon to Kindle or whatever, and you type in Crazy Philadelphia Eddie, books 1, 2, and 3 are there.
Now, isn't there some way to find the audio books as well?
Yeah, I've got 2 of them up.
Okay.
And those, if you go onto Spotify and type up Crazy Philadelphia Eddie, you'll hear the audio that he gave me to write the books. The thing about that audio is he recorded it on a cassette tape with the recorder in front of him. So the audio quality is not,
it's not 100.
It's not modern. I mean, it's totally analog.
Yeah.
There's no digital.
But you could still feel his soul and character out of him, dude. I got to listen to a little bit of it, dude. It's so good.
And sometimes it's a little rough to listen to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's raw.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's kind of like listening to a wax cylinder of maybe Abraham Lincoln's speech. If Abraham Lincoln had a wax cylinder, like it's not going to, you know, I mean, Eddie didn't want to learn how to use a digital recorder. Right? Fuck that shit. You know? He had no interest in modern technology.
Yeah. I just always thought it's so special, your relationship with him. And I've always felt incredibly grateful to be a part of that. And especially be a part of it in person. You know,
he loved you. He loved you. He considered you his son.
Yeah. Yeah. He would introduce me as his son sometimes.
Well, dude, you guys are so similar and so fun.
But what you did for him, the fact that he's immortal because of these books.
Yeah.
There's no other tattooer that has that. So no other tattooer whose whole story was told, you know? So right before he died, I was working a job as a tour guide here in Vegas. And on one of my shifts, I got a call. So I always answered his calls right away. And he says, Eric, I'm having a hard time breathing. Call Stan. And I said, no, I'm not calling Stan. I'm calling 911.
Yeah.
So I called 911. Then I called Stan. And I called Timmy and I said, hey, I can't get a hold of Stan. And he's not breathing so well. And so I hung up the phone. I called 911 again to check on the ambulance. Timmy had also called an ambulance from Pennsylvania. And they said, yeah, we've got ambulances going, right? Like, I mean, like two 911 calls for this guy from people that are out of state. I mean, that's like how much this guy is respected and adored. And then he's in the hospital. He's, you know, and I said, well, I'm going to come out. And he says, no, I don't want anyone. I said, well, you don't get a decision on this one. Usually I defer to you on anything, but this one I'm coming. And he says, all right, you and Timmy, and that's it. And Timmy couldn't make it down, but I managed to get there on a flight. And as I'm waiting the next day to catch my flight, he called me and I'm by the pool. And I said, hey, Eddie, how you feeling? He says, listen, I'm not doing so well. It hurts a lot to breathe. I just want to tell you, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for me and that I love you. And with that, I got to go because my lungs hurt. And that was the last thing he said to me. And, you know, I mean, then, you know, he passes and about 6 months later, I have this dream. And he's like, hey, Eric, doctor's fucked up. I'm not dead. And I said, oh, yeah, Eddie, they fucked up. Where are you? I'm in heaven. And I was like, all right. You made it. You made it, man. You know, like, you know, yeah, you know, that was, you know, to have a mentor like that. And that guy taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Shit, man, don't ever hold anyone else's pistol. Don't get your prints on that fucking gun. You need to have that advice as a grown person.
Yeah.
You might get your ass shipped to El Salvador these days. Was that an MS-13 gun? You know what I mean? Like,
Facts.
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, you know, and the way that like in book 7, there was a young woman that had passed away, and he talked about her for like 6 pages, and he says, I want the book to lay out so her picture is on each of those pages. And it was a young girl that had died, and he said, as her kids grow up, I want them to know that their mom was important. You know?
Damn, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, like, he was always thinking of like the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a heart of gold.
Yeah.
You know, and the best way I could describe Eddie, if someone said, what's he like? I'd say, well, he's got a heart of gold, iron fists, and a spine made of steel. That's the best way to describe that man. You know, his intellect is sharp. And that dude, if you were chained to him and Stan, you were chained to the 9th gate of hell, they'd come and get you.
Yeah.
Lyle Tuttle would drive him there, all hopped up on coke. Right to the 9th gate, guys. Go get Eric. You know, in some trouble. I'll get us back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, those guys, like, we won't have a generation like that again with tattooers, I don't think.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Well, I remember when you travel with him, you had the movable bar that you and it was not a small box either. It was the bar was not a small box.
And I remember like this other academic, she had written some books and stuff, and she's like, I'm trying to figure out what you do here. I said, I mix the drinks.
Yeah.
You know, that's my job.
That's a hard job when you're in that crew.
I move Eddie's stuff.
That's hard work.
I do the heavy lifting, and I mix the drinks. What do you want from me?
Good.
You know,
so much fun,
Brilliant.
man.
Yeah. That's man, good times.
Every time I see a bottle of Malibu, I gotta think of him.
Fuck. Right. Yeah, Malibu and pineapple.
Yeah, the color, yeah.
And then vodka orange juices. That was another one. And then, that was sometimes Bloody Marys, Mai Tais.
Basically anything that was
Right. Yeah.
He's ready to fucking roll.
And a beer and an ice
Not a
cold
picky
frosted
man.
mug.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
just hold
Yeah.
him.
Jack, if you can swim in it, I'll drink it. That was,
Brilliant.
you know?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And that dude could hold his liquor.
Yeah, I was wondering how much he would hold it or drink it.
Yeah.
Both. Just
Yeah.
always on hand, always sipping.
And when he would fly Southwest, by the time you landed, there was like 8 swizzle sticks. Okay. Yeah. And then he would sit like on the aisle, because he was always the first to get on the plane because he had, he needed a chair.
Yeah.
And I would sit in the window seat because I didn't want to sit in the middle. And he'd put his newspaper on that middle seat. And if a pretty girl walked by, he'd pick the paper up and start reading it. Hairy gorilla walks by, paper goes back down.
Yeah.
Oh, man. He was cool. He was fun to travel with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like we could definitely keep going. You have anything else you want to go over?
Yeah.
I'm like so incredibly grateful for this.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this, guys.
Really fun.
Because I miss those days when we were out traveling and doing those conventions.
Yeah, man, we had such a good time.
And you guys did most of it by car, not even flying.
Half and half, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then towards the end, I was taking the Greyhound with the books from place to place.
Yeah, those stories were great too. You were riding a lot on the back of a Greyhound bus.
Best dressed guy on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some weird shit that happens on those Greyhounds.
Was there a lot of I don't know, I'm just kind of, on those long open roads and those trips, was there a lot of silence? And you guys had that ability to just be comfortable and just chill and not talk the whole time.
Yeah, because he would be thinking on the road.
Yeah.
And then he'd start talking, and I'd say, okay, that's got to be in the book.
Yeah.
And then he'd start writing his notes and he'd start making calls and kind of laying out the timeline. And then he'd go back if he needed to, flash back and circle back. Yeah. So, I mean, on the roads, he would just think. And then he would say something weird. And I'd say, that's got to be in the book. Whether it was about his childhood, his dad, because, he loved his dad. And he would tell me stories about his dad in New York City as a metal worker for the city. And that his dad could just make anything with his hands. His dad was very industrious.
Yeah.
And so those stories are pretty cool. Like would make toys and
he invented a quick draw game. His father, do you remember this?
Yeah.
He invented it in arcades in Coney Island. His father invented a game where you'd shoot against a quick draw robot that his father invented.
Yeah.
I remember him talking about it. And
Yeah.
He spoke of his father very highly. Very highly of his father. Not so much his sister. But
No.
She was on the list.
She was on the list.
she was on the list. And she deserved to be on the list.
Yeah. And he did not like her husband.
No.
That was over the beef with the supply company?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah. And that's all in book like 4 or 5.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it explodes on 6.
And there was 2 supply companies that exploded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. One was
National
and one was
then
United, I think.
United. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, and it's weird. Like, I'll have friends in LA that say, oh, yeah, I met this guy named Steve. Used to have a vintage clothing shop on 4th Street. He knows Eddie, and he tells me crazy stories. About this one time, Eddie went to war with Tattoo Bill. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's his adopted son. He says, yeah, like, got to fisticuffs? I'm like, probably. Eddie just had enough.
Dang.
And it spilled out into the streets,
Yeah. Was he a pretty big guy? He was like a smaller guy when we were hanging out with him. Obviously, he was a pretty old dude. But
he was a big dude.
Yeah, like a husky dude back
Yeah.
in the day.
He was built like a brick shithouse when he was younger.
Yeah. He was barrel chested.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was pretty fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he didn't back down from anything.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was not afraid of fucking thing. Like,
No.
always ready to just try it out and figure out how it works and get through it.
Right.
Whatever problems come to it.
Now, his adopted son, how many kids did he raise?
That's a good question. Let's see.
So he didn't have any of his own kids. He had
Joe
one. You
was
said he had
his
one.
son, right?
Joe?
Son. Yeah.
His daughter, Yvonne.
Right.
Oh,
So 2.
okay.
Right.
Yeah. His daughter, Yvonne. Joe. Bill. I think that's it. Just 3. 3 if I can remember correctly. Yeah. And then like there was Sharon had a daughter or something like that. And there was a guy that had a contract out on Eddie.
Oh my God, dude.
Because he was dating Sharon and she was writing letters to this guy that had a contract out on him because they'd had a kid together. And the guy sent someone to check Eddie out in the shop. And the report came back that like, no, Eddie dotes on these kids. He's not abusive to these kids. And later in life, the guy presented himself to Eddie and said, I was going to have a contract put out on you because I heard you were treating my kid bad because he was the father of.
Right.
And, God, I hope I don't get whacked for telling these fucking stories. And, I'm leaving names out of it. And, the guy says, I knew it was full of shit after I'd had someone check on you. And also in the letter, Eddie's ex-wife said that he locks me in a closet. And this guy said, there's no way you could lock that woman in a closet. I knew she was full of shit. Like, not possible. And so that's what got Eddie off the hook was the guy figured out like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And there he goes. He survives a hit, right? I mean, like, yeah, the guy was unstoppable.
Yeah. You mentioned he was he was on parole. So he was in and out of jail?
Well, no,
throughout
just
his life,
once
or-
as a
really?
teenager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a burglar,
Okay.
and his name came up in an investigation.
Really?
And one day when we were traveling to a convention, we were driving, and we're driving down this road, and he says, "Oh, this reminds me about how I used to stake out houses."
No shit.
Right.
And
And
this
this
when he's a
is-
teenager.
As a teenager,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
This is a fucking fun story. So we go to that convention and we pick up Stan. And I can't remember where the convention is. I think it's near North Carolina, Norfolk, Virginia, somewhere in there. And we were with Stan. And we're going to go to the next convention. And Stan's riding with us. And Eddie says, yeah, I had a thing that reminded me of the way we used to case out houses before we burgled them. And he goes, or Stan says, oh yeah, tell me about that, Eddie. And Eddie says, yeah, we robbed those houses and the police called me in for questioning. And they said, okay, well, where did you steal the stuff from? And he says, well, the money that I took in that house was, say, like, it was in the second book on the shelf. And the husband would say, no. There's no money in the house in the second book on the shelf. And he says, then we go to the next house that I burgled. And I said, well, the money was underneath the refrigerator. And the wife would say, no, there's no money underneath the refrigerator. And he said, at that point, I realized husbands and wives
Don't
keep their money in separate places in the house.
Yeah.
So I thought, that's a really interesting story. So I go home to Sacramento, California, and I tell my mom and dad this story. And they both looked at each other and smiled. And I was like, fuck, he's right. Like, and that was pretty funny. Little things like that,
Yeah.
and then you say, oh, this has got to be in the book, and he'd say, some shit I can't put in the book, Eric. And he says, when I put this stuff on tape, I realize there's some things I cannot tell you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, yeah. So there's stuff I don't even know.
Yeah. Oh,
That would happen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's book 8.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
7's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, those were good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great times. Yeah. We had fun.
Yeah.
Now I got a boring job at a bus station
No, your
where people
job
try
does
to
not
like
sound
kill
boring.
me once a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or at least threaten me.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I think we could probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's just obviously so much in these books, and if you don't have them, figure out how to get them.
Yeah. Just
Go to Lucky's.
Yeah.
go to Lucky's. He's got them, and he's got signed editions.
Yeah. I was so stoked when I reopened mine today. It said to Austin in this really squiggly script and
Yeah.
everything, And I was like, I forgot that I got them all directly from him and
Yeah.
signed from the shows and stuff. So,
Yeah, and
but
he probably has 5 and 6.
yeah,
I don't have any more of 7, but I might have a 5 or 6 stashed away.
I might. Or dude, if you have them, I will.
Yeah,
get 'em from
I'll
you.
get 'em.
I might dig through my books over there and see if
Let me know,
100% would get a hold of them.
because I work one day a week in the neighborhood.
Now I want you to sign them too. Well, you had to have signed them.
I think I signed them.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
exactly, yeah.
But I'll dig around in my house and see if I can find you 5 and 6.
Okay.
I know I've got 6. I probably got a 5.
Excited. Yeah.
I'll
then-
look for signed ones.
And then if people want to get the audios, they go to Spotify.
Yeah, I got 1 and 2 up there.
Okay. Are those other ones coming or no?
I kind of want to wait until
Okay. Yeah.
the hit list just kind of happens,
Yeah.
so no one sues me.
Okay.
It's not like a bus driver has great assets, but I don't want anyone to take my pension. I don't want to work 20 years at a bus station for some asshole to come and take my $500 a month.
Well, right now, Eddie is just watching.
Yeah.
He's watching with the biggest shit-eating fucking grin.
Yeah.
That's amazing that, again, he's got this story out there like no other tattooer does. And if any tattooer from yesteryear has the opportunity of being recognized in the future, it's because of these books, and it'll be Eddie.
Yeah. And he talked about everybody in those books.
Yes.
Everybody.
Even the people he didn't like.
Yeah. And the people he liked and everything. I mean, because at that time there was only 300 tattooers on the globe.
Right.
It's so wild.
Right. And now there's probably 300 on this block.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah.
300 tattooers on the globe. And that's what Doc was saying. Like Eddie wanted to get into the supply business. Who are you going to supply?
Right. Why?
300 people. Right.
What a niche market.
Right. And now, I mean, your
Yeah.
clientele must be international.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. You just need to get
that's just the tiniest
And remember, too,
sliver of it.
he had a supply business at a time when tattooers were self-sufficient, too.
Yeah.
So he had a very, very small part of that.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And I hear his green ink was amazing. That's what everyone says, like the old timers.
Yeah.
Eddie's green ink was amazing.
Everything that they were putting out was groundbreaking. The machines
Yeah.
that Nationals put out, the inks that Nationals put out. They came up with the I don't know if it was before. I think it was his time that the homogenized inks came out. So he probably was, the guy who spearheaded the homogenized inks. It was just constant. Everything was better. Nationals was the shit.
Yeah.
You had a Nationals machine or you didn't have a Nationals machine.
Yeah. They were innovators.
And then when United came out, it was the same thing. Everything was of better quality than it was with Nationals.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first machine that I had to put together.
A United?
Yeah.
They were a trip because the collet was a different size. You had to use his tubes for it.
Yeah. No, the National Swing Gate. I think is that it hanging right there? I ground off the chrome, the one hanging.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a swing gate.
So that was it. I custom made little star stickers on it.
Awesome. Fucking
nice.
awesome.
But it used to be chrome, but I wanted to look more old school, so we ground off the fucking chrome.
Yeah.
There's a couple Paco Rollins right there from
Yeah.
04, dude. I saw somebody restoring Paco Rollins machines online.
Ain't that a
Well, I
trip?
thought it was really cool.
Like they're now considered vintage.
Yeah, I think I have 3 of them or 4. I don't know. Yeah. He came in. He signed my name on it and the date he made those. Which is kind of cool.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he still builds.
Was that Seattle, right?
Yeah. I don't remember. I just remember him traveling through town.
Yeah. And see, then like if you say Seattle, I say, okay, Danny Denzel. Like if, because with Eddie, I learned what tattooers in which cities.
Yeah.
And when we would drive, he wouldn't say anything. Then we get to a town. Oh, this was Bill Collins' area, And like, I said, why don't you mention him in this one? He's like, there was nobody else.
Yeah.
You could drive for 300 miles and there wasn't
Right.
a tattoo shop.
Imagine what that must have been like.
And all the relationships that he built up and everything were just from fucking physically being there. It's not like you wrote letters or slid into the DMs. I just love that it was all genuinely because he was getting out there and traveling and introducing himself face to face. I just love that part.
Right.
I don't know.
And some of the names like Chop 'em Up Charlie.
Yeah.
out of Baltimore.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, what a name.
And he fucking remembers them all. Like, yeah. Like his mind never really went at the end, right?
Yeah, he was a
just
steel
his
trap.
body.
Yeah, he was a steel trap.
That's
Steel trap.
just a smart dude, man.
Yeah, remembered everything.
Yeah. See, I have to do things like this because I'll forget everything.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
I just got to keep documenting.
I remember at your house, one of your house parties, Eddie and I standing in the living room talking for a long, long time. And I thought, how many cocktails has he had?
I know, right?
Look you in the eye and talk so clearly and remember he was telling me stories like crazy. And I was like, he seemed totally lucid. It was really interesting to watch somebody and he was pretty old by then.
Yes.
I mean, I
He's 72 is when he was 72 years old when we started the project.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he was 72.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he passed it when he was 80.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was 8 years, Yeah. And then like I remember like young guys would come up and they're like, yeah, but I've got 15 years in the business. And he'd say, I've forgotten more than you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he
had some catchy ass lines too.
did,
Oh,
man.
yeah. He was
Yes, he did.
quick.
Zingers.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, shit, Philly.
Yeah.
Should we close it out?
Wahoo.
Dude, thanks so much for coming. Like, this is really fun. We got a new set here today. We're doing a nighttime thing, so we got a little cocktails in us and
Yes.
stuff. But
Woo.
and this was fun. This is really
Yeah.
great and
Yeah.
very special to me. I just greatly appreciate you guys. And
I appreciate you.
It's so fun, man. Like
I appreciate. Thank you, because like no one ever talks to me about these books or anything. So
you put so much time and energy and
thank
effort,
you.
and I know you put your heart and everything you've got into it, and I fucking love it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love our stories that we have together.
Yeah,
I love,
we got to travel.
Travels, man.
We did. We really got to travel and rub elbows with these guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're so lucky to have known these guys.
Yeah.
So lucky to have known these guys.
Yeah.
It's really special, man. So I personally want to see you do more.
Well, we'll see what.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Maybe
happens.
not. Yeah, you've got so much information about Stan too, or like anybody else. I love that you did this. It's really cool, special project.
This is pretty much probably what my life's work is going to be.
Yeah.
If I walk away from writing, having done this, I'm happy.
That's pretty special.
Now I write in a journal every day and write down some of the crazy bus shit.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can do more talking.
Ooh, boy, that's a whole different topic. Let me retire from that job.
That'll make this look mild.
Yeah. So fuck it, guys. Like, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank
Philly,
you.
I love you.
Good to see you, Charlie.
Eric, we got my dad on the mic in the back, offset. He snuck in there. Dude, don't forget to support your local tattooers, man. Yeah. And get out there and research and educate yourself on whatever it is that you're in love with, or whatever part of tattooing that you're in love with. Just get into it, man, and just consume yourself in it. It's a beautiful, beautiful culture, and
yes, it is.
Fantastic group of people, and I've made some of my best buds and longtime friends, and through it, and I love it more than anything. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out. Have a good one. Support your local tattooer. Thank you, guys.